All right. I know I still owe you guys an intro. Hopefully, with this weekend, I've got kind of a clear schedule. I'll be able to get one to you guys. But until I do, it's introless. We're here. We're rolling right into it. What's going on, everybody? It is another beautiful Saturday afternoon here on this half great, half crap hole we call planet Earth. I am Spencer Bakuli. You might know me as Mav. You might know me as the editor-in-chief of Bounding into Comics. Or if you're watching this show, you'll know me as the host of Good Mav Ugly, the weekly talk show that I host where I want to... The weekly talk show where I try to remind everybody that even though the world sucks, there are still good things in life. There's still reasons to get out of bed. The show where I cover, whatever news happens to be on your guys' mind, whether it's, something cool, something bad. I want to hear from you guys. We can talk it all out. And yeah, just, restoring intellectual honesty and sanity. And guys, like, I don't want everybody to be like unnecessarily blackpilled and upset, right? Like, things are bad, but things are way worse than a boo. Oh, you're just booing me. Shut up, Andrew. Shut up. You're trying to trick me over here. But yeah, guys, always happy to be here on a Saturday to hang out with you for the next roughly 2.5 hours to, ease you into your afternoon, help you over your hangover, whatever it may be. Obviously, we have Andrew here already, what you call it? Yanking my chain, pulling my leg over here, making me freak out that I've messed up some sound setting, because as you guys know, if you've been watching over the past, I guess 2 weeks now, ever since we switched up Bounding streaming schedule, and I'm streaming primarily through their channels, or our channel is my channel. I'm in charge too. I don't know. It's a team effort. You guys know what I mean. But Bounding specifically uses a StreamYard setup so it can multi-stream, and that isn't like natively compatible with my OBS, which is where, for a long time, Good Mav Ugly viewers, that's where all of our intros, outros, graphics, cool frames and setups and everything, they're all over there. So I will fix it. I will. But until then, it's a little wonky. So you guys have seen over the past couple of days, Monday or Tuesday's Cosmic Invasion stream it was good, but like for a little bit, I didn't have sound, and then the game didn't have sound, and then yada, 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 yada. So don't you pull my leg over there. We've also got Punk in the house. How are you doing, brother? Always a pleasure to hang out with you on Good Mav Ugly. Pardon me. Andrew says, I'm out of bed and playing First Descendant. I'm jealous. That's kind of what I want to, I'm probably going to do with the rest of my day. I'm probably going to buckle down and finish or not finish, but really make some significant inroads into Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I'm making my way. Don't worry, guys. I'm making my way. I'll get there. I know I'm behind on the curve, but you know what? I blame Square Enix for being super, super delayed in actually bringing the game to the PC, right? Because they said, oh, we have a limited PS5 window until like May 2025. And I went, okay, cool. That means like either right then or shortly after then, you're going to immediately release it onto PC. And it took them like months. What year did it? Am I even getting the years right? Okay, yeah. FF7, it was there. No, I don't, because it was 2024. The window ended in, because the game drops in February 2024, and then it says like it has a release, a PlayStation exclusivity thing until roughly like, yeah, March, May, April, sometime around then. And so I was like, okay, cool. I will hang out for those couple months, and then I'll wait for them to port it, and I'll grab it there. And then a month passed, and then 2 months passed, and then 3 months passed, and everything kept going and going and going and going. And it wasn't until like earlier this year that we finally got the game. So I'm making my way through it. I'm excited, but I'm jealous. I'm happy you're playing First Ascendant. It's one of those things where like I know this is a problem for me, so maybe I'm projecting a little, but I also hope like I hate when I see this, and I hope to, at least make you guys conscious of it so that we can all make our lives better, because I need to be better about it too. But it's like, how much time do we spend during a day going like, oh, I want to play this. I wish I had time for video games. I wish I could do that. Like, I do that a lot. I'm sure we all do. You know what the solution is? Just fucking play. Like literally, like even if it's just for 15 minutes, right? Just like load up a game and be like, okay, I'm going to play. obviously it's good to have like good like games that can fit into different moments, right? Like for example, in a 15-minute window, or if I've got like 30 minutes, I'll play something like Cosmic Invasion or Fortnite or Marvel Rivals, because kind of quick, kind of pick up and play, not a lot of investment, if you will. Whereas with something like a Xenoblade Chronicles or a Final Fantasy VII remake, I've got to like, all right, like this is a movie, we're buckling down, like this is going to be some time that we're going to have to take, right? So yeah, just pick up and play, guys. I know, Andrew, I think, are you Steam Decking it? I don't know if you're Steam Decking. I know you have your Switch too, which you love. And like my sister got a Steam Deck a couple weeks ago, and I want one, but I know I need to get in a better groove of playing video games, which like hopefully the bounding streams we've been doing, the Mav streams, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, like hopefully that'll get me back into the swing of things. But right now, I'm just too addicted to cardboard. Just too addicted to cardboard. What's going on, Shinkai? How are you doing, buddy? Hey, you're well, I don't know if you normally watch this early, but this is like one of the earlier comments on the Saturday streams I've seen from you. So hey, happy to have you, pal. I hope you didn't like, rearrange your schedule to wake up early and come watch us and hang out. But either way, I'm happy to have you. And then yes, Xenoblade Chronicles mentioned. I knew you would like that. Why is that on my mind again? It was in the Kabuto Studios Discord server, which everybody, by the way, secret link down below. You can join it, come hang out with us, come chat, come talk, come all that fun stuff. I was like talking with Oki and Zero, I believe, and Oki and I were talking about like video game length or something, or like, oh man, I really just got to like sit down and do it. And Zero was like, well, maybe you should sit down and play Xenoblade. And I was like, damn it, you're right. Like, I really should play Xenoblade Chronicles. I really, really was liking it when we were going through it. The only reason we stopped playing was because time makes fools of us all. Am I right? Wow. 8-year anniversary for Xenoblade Chronicles 2 last week. Did they do anything for it? I didn't see any like major merch or like a collab announcement or anything, which by the way, I'm sure you guys have maybe seen all of this going on your timelines lately. But there's a bunch of new stuff, like new anime, new video games, new like merch collabs. And they all started coming out yesterday. And I was sitting there in the morning going like, what is happening? And they're all coming from Japan, right? And I was like, what the hell is happening? Why is there so much? Is today a special day? No, it's not Golden Week, obviously. It's not part of their Christmas traditions. Why? What's happening? Tokyo Comic-Con is currently happening, right? So that is why we're getting a bunch of announcements lately. Some of the things I know I saw were like Oran Host Club. For anybody who used to watch that anime, they're doing a new like pop-up collab cafe, which is kind of crazy. There's a new set of Hello Kitty Hatsune Miku Vocaloid like figures that I'm gonna buy them. Like, you've got me by the balls. I don't know what you want from me. What were the other cool things? Let me think. I was just sharing a bunch of these with some friends. I can pull them up. Maybe I can, if I can remember which Discord room we were talking about it in. I thought it was in our video game one. It's not. Because I was like, what is happening? What is happening? Oh, I might have done it here. Yeah. It's here. So yeah, I'm just gonna hold on. I'm gonna arrange these into a window and just like run through them real quick and be like, dude, isn't this crazy? Like, this is crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy. Shinkai says, I'm all good. I was watching 2 older animes I thought I would never be able to find online that I haven't seen since I was like 10 to 12. Finished one of them. Man, there's, for all I hate the internet, right? Like, at this point, I think we've tipped on the scale of like, is the internet a benefit or a boon to humanity? I think it's slightly starting to tip over to boon, right? Like, we should not be this connected. Something broke once we started like, what's the right term here? Like, breaking down all the walls of the internet, right? Like, there used to be like kids specific sections, like Yahoo Kids, the Nickelodeon Kids, and then there were like specific forum communities and all that stuff, right? As soon as I think it's social media specifically is the thing that really fucked us all over. Human beings aren't meant to operate like, we shouldn't know what millions of people are thinking at a given moment. And like, they're like, it's just too irresponsible. Like, I'm sorry, guys. I think about this a lot. In America specifically, 60% of our adult population is illiterate beyond like a 4th grade, 5th grade level, if that. So if you throw them onto the internet with no barriers, no, guidelines, no nothing, are we surprised at what happened? But I digress. One of the best things I love about, the internet and that stuff is finding that old things, whether it's like an old comic, an old TV show, an old anime. One of my favorite things is whenever you type into Google, like I'll do it sometimes, either a comic book or I'm looking for a movie or a show. And it's like, superhero, accidentally kills brother, becomes, troubled, but then his brother's alive and they wear purple suits. And, one of the actors was black and the other guy was Mexican or something, right? Like, I don't know. And you hit enter, boom, there, like somehow all the collective unconsciousness of the internet will link you there. But so like, I love that. I'm happy for you that you found it. And I'm going to chance and say, I hope you found it in like HD, like 1080p at the very least, because that's the point we're at. Except no standard definitions anymore, unless it's something like the Doctor Who tapes, remember, it's the infamous thing that shows why physical media and preservation is so important, where all of the like original Doctor Who episodes from like the 40s, 30s, and so on, they were recorded on single VHS tapes. And then half of them were just re-recorded over because back then nobody thought who's going to want to go back and watch these. And then the other half got destroyed by like a massive flood that hit the BBC's like archives like a decade or two ago. So like I'd accept those in standard definition, but everything else that comes in 1080p, because you know what? I lived through the Vietnam that was, so like I've been on the internet since what, like 1999, 1998. Like I was molded in it, if you will. So like I've gone through the days of like getting something off of, first like buying bootleg DVDs from like comic conventions, right? Like for me, it was Comic-Con or like the local swap meet. And then it became get anime episodes downloaded off of IRC, off of servers. And then came YouTube and the advent of Naruto episode 148, part 5 of 23, 120p, right? And it's like, just because I was forged through those fires, it doesn't mean it was like a good forging. So I'm very, very happy that, or like at the very least, I want you to have a higher quality rips of that stuff. Oh, that's too bad. Nah, they didn't do anything at all beyond adding some art to the Switch app. You'd love Xenoblade Cross. That's the like newer one. They like the most recent one, right? Where it's like super scale heavy, super mech heavy for those who don't know Xenoblade, right? I remember this one because when they were like showing it off and like around its release date, you were like, Mav, you're gonna love this. Like it's mecha, of course you are. And I went, oh man, this is super sick. I really want to get into this. And that was the start of you trying to get me into Xenoblade, which I am. I just need to return to it, obviously. But I feel I'm one of those guys who's like, if I can, and it's not overtly daunting, I would prefer to engage with every piece of a series media before I jump into like a newer one. You know what I mean? It's not a hard rule. For example, when I got into Kamen Rider, I just picked whichever Kamen Rider I thought looked cool and I went with it. When I was getting into comic books as a kid, I just picked whichever one, looked cool at the time. But nowadays it's like, oh, if I want Andrew can attest to this. You guys out there can attest to this. I recently went through like a really, what would you call it? Not like obsession or fixation, but I was really hooked over like the last like 2 months on the End of Doomsday Clock, the DC series, where Doc Manhattan and Superman have their amazing like talk, and it really shows who Superman is. And so I reread it, but I couldn't just leave it there. So I've been spending the last, week since going back and reading like Dark Knight's Death Metal, Dark Knight's Metal, Rebirth. Like I'm going through because I want to make sure I know all of the context. That's me. I'll get there eventually. I will get there eventually. I'm finding it's easier to make time to play video games when you actually just say, I'm going to do it instead of debating with yourself for 5 hours. You know what I mean? Punk says, I played Sonic Racing Crossworlds twice since I bought it from Target. I really enjoyed playing it. I knew you would. I mean, you were still playing the demo, even though the full game was out. I'm glad you picked it up. I've heard nothing but good things. I really, really want to buy it, but at current, I got to focus on more single player-y things, especially with the bounding stream happening, because I don't know if everybody wants to just watch me play Sonic Racing Crossworlds for like 9 months straight. All right. I'm not Booga or any of these other famous streamers. I only know that name from a meme. What up, Sumat? How's it going? Hello over to you on the Facebook world. I think that's the first comment over on our Facebook that we've gotten with these live streams. We've been doing them for about 2 weeks now since we revamped, and nice to see you, Sumi. Awesome to hear from you, and also good to know that it's actually like connecting over there. What's up, Kenny? Sorry, I had to take a drink. Hey, Spencer. Hey, Kenny. Social media is the cesspool that has slowly decayed the human race. If used smartly, it can be okay from an individual viewpoint at times. I like seeing old photos of malls and restaurants I went to as a kid. See, that's where I get torn, right? Because I really do think if we're going to tackle the entire internet question, I definitely think at the end of the day, it is a net, even though I was joking like a little while ago, right? Like it is overall a net positive to civilization, because think of the untold amount of like information access we all have now, right? The connectivity alone, for all the bad it does. Look at the fact that like, hey, you got like, I would have never met like you or Punk or Shinkai or Andrew, or even gotten a job here at Bounding all those years ago if we didn't have the internet, because none of these guys were, at the time. Trent was, or I think he's still, let me rephrase that. I set that up really bad. Trent, for example, was based out in Virginia, right? I know, for example, I know Andrew, somebody I hang out with all the time, somebody who I talk to every day, one of my best friends, he's in Texas. Some of my other best friends, like they live in Washington, they live in Virginia, they live in the Philippines, they live in Europe, they live in Chile, right? So like that is all good. And then, what's a common writer? Back in the day, who the fuck knows? But now you can like look it up and get to know things, or you can cross-reference things. All of that is great. Like it truly is a technological marvel. The and like to your end, right? Like I think there is benefit in some level of social media, in seeing other human beings' experiences, whether we understand that they're hyper curated or not, right? But just seeing, like you said, malls and restaurants and just old photos, that's the kind of stuff that works. But what you're kind of talking about is this idea. I think I touched on it the last Mav streams, but I'll hit it again here, or maybe I hit on it on Foil Variant. I don't know. I'm on streams a lot lately, but shit. Let me reformulate that point in my head. What was I trying to say? Shoot. Okay. So I guess I'll just reset then, because I completely lost that train of thought. But it is like, this is the fun stuff, right? And like what we are living in now, honestly, it sounds a bit hyperbolic, but we are truly living, we are experiencing, if you were on the internet pre 2012, right? I would say about pre 2012, 2013 at the latest, you were essentially in the Wild West, like in American history, right? It was a completely open area. Yeah, there were some really fucked up parts of it, right? Obviously. Things like, Silk Road and all the unindexed pages on the dark web. But there was still, innovation and prosperity, and these, everybody who lived in the West had an understanding of this collective culture, even if, it's not culture in the sense of like, we all follow the same religion, or we all breed the same horse or anything like that, right? But it's more like cultural, a culture of understanding of like where you are, right? It's that classic thing where somebody would, you see it in movies a lot, where somebody goes and they're like, oh my gosh, did you see that person like throw their drink on the ground? Like, what is this barbarity? And then they go, no, like that's what we do here, like that's completely normal. And then the other person goes, oh, I guess I'll get hip in with it, right? Like, that's what I meant. When you were on the internet in those early days, things like trolling or intentionally like DDoSing somebody, or saying jokes like kill yourself or I fucking hate you, like anything like that, everybody understood the air. There was that air of like, we know we're all sort of in the same locale, we're all sort of in the same wave, like we get it. But then once the railroads hit the West, right, all the people from the East Coast and all the industrialists started coming in, and as they started building up company towns and mining towns and all this stuff, they had to, as they started bringing in workers, more casual people, they didn't like, the rough and tumble or the dirtiness of the Wild West. So they had to start cleaning things up. Less brothels, less saloons, harsher punishments for violence, no more duel, things like that, right? Which one could argue that, okay, it made that area better and it helped to lead to, some era of prosperity to some degree. But at the same time, you've completely destroyed the culture that was already there. And there's like, yeah, so those of us who were on the internet before, so for us internet users, the invention of the railroad, that was cell phone, or that was the spread of smartphones, like wide, like, what am I trying to say here? The widespread adoption of smartphones, I think is what I'm trying to say, right? Because around 2013, 2014, that's when the like iPhone like 3 or 4 or whatever started becoming pretty economic. Like it wasn't out of everybody's price range. It started, lots of providers were doing deals, yada, yada, yada. So now grandma's, what's an app? What's a Facebook? Now your uncle who, hasn't read a book since 1956 is now scrolling Twitter all day trying to get his, political research. And it's that gentrification by corporations that left the internet what it is now, right? Where like the things we see, guys, this is something I try to hammer home a lot here, is that these corporations, I know we say it, but I don't know how many of us actually internalize it, but like, they aren't our friends. They want to, like, they are ready and willing to screw us over for profit at any turn. So just sort of like nothing they're bringing over. Oh man, I totally lost where that metaphor was going, but that's essentially what it is, right? And now we're still cowboys, but the West is gone. Like our home is no longer what it is, and we have to deal with that. And I think that's why you're seeing a resurgence in like forum communities, which, by the way, Bounding Into Comics has one. Go hang out with it. I'm over there. Andrew did an AMA over there. It's a fun little place to hang out. But yeah, like because you're right. It is that social media cesspool, because that's what I was saying about the corporations, is like all the negativity you guys see, all the like when you are on your Facebook feed and you just see post after post of, I hate America, I think everything should be this, or I should blah, blah, blah. Like, it's all, none of it's real. None of it is real. There's probably some little basis of truth at the bottom of whatever that is, whatever the topic at hand is, but they are intentionally trying to make you angry and keep you engaged because that makes them money. Unfortunately, joy, positivity, community does not earn clicks. It doesn't fire people up. What does fire people up is seeing morons like Matt Walsh get attention, or the, current White House Soviet press corps and stuff like that, right? Like, so they like that again. It's like like you said, and I'll re-hit, it's the social media. It's really the social media. And as much as I am like a freedom, liberal, libertarian, I guess you would more describe me as like a libertarian, because I still think you need to have some amount of rules on the books, right? Like one of my favorite videos is, I can just pull it up because we are on the, oh, wait, I didn't even pull this up. Okay, yeah, we jumped like 700 different things. So first, before we move on, I can't believe we've gotten this far already. All right, before we move on, as you guys might have seen, our main topics for today, we've got the big Netflix Warner Brothers merger. That is going to be our main topic that we can discuss. We've also got, oh my gosh, what did I even write in the description for this video? I don't remember what I said we could be talking about. Oh yeah, in case we have any time left over, there's a little update to Project R.E.D, the Super Sentai successor, that we'll take a look at. Just talk about our thoughts on it, and then if there's time, or if we need a good laugh, I've really got to show you this hilarious fucking like Eiichiro Oda Tidalwave Productions fuck up, because it has been making me laugh for about a solid day. But before I get back to the comments, because I know as soon as I get there, I'll probably get taken away. Back to my point about Tokyo Comic-Con and all the like random announcements that are coming out of there. These are the ones that were like I was seeing in the morning, and I was going like, what is like I woke up yesterday and I'm like, what are we doing here? Let's see. What's the best way to display this? That, allow, bring you in. Whoop. So first, we got like a fucking Slayer's like new picture of Lena, like absolutely sexo Lena, like playing a violin. Incredible. Then we got the announcement that in honor of Slayer's anniversary, its 35th anniversary, shout out to my other old heads out there, they're doing like, they just released a Lena ASMR thing, right? Like, I don't do ASMR. I have no idea anything about it, like what's good, what's bad. But hey, they went out of their way and they made something like that with the original VA. Then, for example, we got the Sympho Gear and Princess Orchestra crossover, which was just random because it's Sympho Gear. When was the last time we even got a new Sympho Gear? I didn't even know like Japan remembered that they had that. Then, like I said before, new Oran Host Club collaboration cafe, which is okay. Like they've done nothing with this series, not even like merch releases or what do you call it, like can badges for years. Hey, I like the series, so I'm always happy for it to get more love. I'm not going to go out of my way to go to a specific Oran High School collab cafe in Tokyo and Osaka. By the way, like I know people are doing like they're having more and more of these types of things, like collaboration cafes in America. Have you guys ever been to one? I've never been to one in America, but I have been to the one in like 2013, 2011, the Tokyo Tower, right? Like the big actual landmark in Tokyo, which is like their big broadcasting tower. It had it's like a mini oh my god, Eiffel Tower, right? In the sense that yes, it is more functional. It is an active like receiving tower and broadcast tower, but it's so big that there are still like shops and offices and like things that you can explore and do inside. It's like it's an attraction unto itself. I went to, or in that time period, they were doing like a One Piece cafe, like a big One Piece exhibit, and not just a cafe, but it was like a One Piece attraction within the tower where like you would go and it was this entire floor of the tower that was like decked out in completely themed One Piece stuff. Like there were recreations of the crew and a dinner table and stuff like in the middle. There were various rooms you would go around that had different activities. One of them, like one was you get a trail, like a snail transponder, like a physical one, and you're supposed to take it around and like highlight essentially QR codes that are hidden, and you highlight them and then it rings and you get like a clue from somebody and it tells you, go look over here. And at the end you got like you got something. I don't remember. I didn't do it because all the instructions were in Japanese. I don't know who the hell you're telling me to go listen to. Then there was like a cool room you go into, and there's like a quick like 3-minute 360 video. And there was, the One Piece Cafe was in there with all the collab, food and stuff. And then the coolest part I remember was there was like I guess you call it like an infrared game. I'm not entirely sure, or like a camera game. But basically, you went into like, there was a room, and you got to choose from one of like, you could choose either of Zoro's 3 swords. And then the challenge was like, you just like chopped them, right? Like a screen would like throw wood at you, and you cha. It's really fucking cool. But yeah, all that to say, like, these are really, really, really cool. I just, for Oran, I'm not paying the money to go out specifically for that. But then, like I said, my wallet is toast. We've got Vocaloid Miku with Len, all of them, Lin, Kagam, or I always fucked up their names. I'm not even gonna try. I'm not even gonna try. All right, but cute little Hello Kitty Gashapon keychains, and then this thing. Oh man, guys, like they're also having Sanrio announced this collab with the Japanese company Chikawa, who you guys have probably seen. Like Gudetama, the little what is his name? Like you see him down there, the little dog, like the pudding dog. And they're teaming up, and they're gonna have some collab items, a pop-up shop. Every woman in the world is like going to like. I just look at this and I'm like, you sons of bitches, you're all about to become like quintillionaires. Holy, I don't know what better brand you could have locked on to just hit every woman in their like wallet, right? And this is not like a cultural thing. It's not like a race thing, or like, it's literally just like women like cute things. And every woman of every, culture, group, subtype, clique, whatever race, they've all like, even if they don't know what Hello Kitty is, they've got a bunch of stuff because like, oh, it's so cute. I love it. So yeah, they're going to rake in the dough. But yeah, those are just some of the announcements I saw popping out of Comic-Con over there. I'm also kind of bummed because there is a print it's a dual print, right? Or like a collab print by Gurihiru and Peach Momoko, right? And I'm just like, why the fuck is that Tokyo exclusive? Like, I want that. Please. What do I have to do for that? But whoa. Oh man, Spencer starts going kawaii, and all of a sudden his voice decides to go to like super cracked. But with that all said, let's get to you guys in the chat. I know you've been talking. I know I've been rambling for too long. And let's get this show on the road. Shinkai says, oh, I didn't find it in HD, just regular quality. I could only ever find it raw or Hindi dub, so getting to see it in English, even if Animax dub was good. The other, I was glad I found the dub I wanted. See, even there, right? That's kind of, you have the right attitude. Obviously, we would all want it in HD. And we know that it's pretty easy to find a lot of things in HD nowadays, thanks to other preservationists and collectors and stuff. But there is just something warm about like, fuck, I found it. Okay, it might not be the best version, but damn it, I know it exists. I can watch it. I can prove to people. Kenny says, I remember getting my first Toshiba laptop and plugging in that phone line with the free AOL child disc, taking hours to watch a trailer for episode 1. Man, I remember having an Apple II, dude. Like, that's, my mom got an Apple II when it was new because her company was, she was like, she's always been like a very big, prominent like person in the marketing world, like the executive marketing world. I'm sure if anybody has any like top level HR, Fortune 500, like corporate friends or family, they've probably either heard of her or worked with one of the companies she's done things with. Yeah, she's pretty prominent, but they bought her one because they're like, we need you to do, we need you on the internet. We need you emailing, yada, yada. So I learned on an Apple II. And I remember like my mom and I were looking at the manual a couple weeks ago because we were cleaning the garage and we found it. And it was like big sunburst, like 256 megs of memory. Whoa, 16 megs of RAM. Whoa. And I'm just like, oh, like, I'm pretty sure, what is this? Like my remote here for like the LED light strips I have in my room, I'm pretty sure this has more memory alone than that Apple II did. But it's it's fun to look back on that. I don't think I watched the episode 1 trailer online. I can't remember. I was like, I'm pretty sure it played on TV and my grandma recorded it for me on VHS so I could just watch it over and over and over and over again, right? Punk says, I finished watching an episode of your favorite Moto Trend shows on HBO Max. Good to hear. Oh, didn't mean to do that. As always, I highly encourage everybody to go engage with things you like. Read something you know, with a character you love, or from a writer you love, or a theme, or a show, or whatever, right? Like, yes, lots of things are bad out there, as we'll get into with the Netflix thing in a little bit. But like Punk, there are still good things out there. You just have to go find them. Susanu, what is up? Happy to have you on the Saturday afternoon, my man. As with you, Timon, happy to hear you. Happy to have you here earlier than last time. I know this is the second time I'm bringing it up, but I still do feel really bad that you showed up on Thursday's Mav streams and you were like, yo, let's go. What's up? And I'm like, I'm literally walking into the final boss fight right now. And then I beat him, and then the stream was over. But I'm happy to see you, friend. Kenny says, I think it was best when it was more for those seeking it out than everyone being on at all times. I don't even use a smartphone except for Apple Music. That's exactly it, right? I 100% agree with you. It's when you have to go seek it out, there's a level, that's sort of a natural barrier, a natural gatekeep to people who like, do you really want to engage with this? Do you really care about what's happening in comic books right now? Do you really care about, this studio getting this video game? Or are you just a crybaby bitch? Are you a Mark Kern? Are you just looking for things to cry about? Right. So yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. I'm not going to, pretend I don't love my smartphone. I use it all the time, but I do specifically try to limit what social media use I have and curate what social media I do have, right? So for example, I have like no Instagram for me, no Facebook for me, because that's where like people will post their super curated lives and everybody looks super happy and great all the time. That just makes me feel like shit, right? Like even if I know, oh, you guys are putting on a performance for Instagram, it still is like, man, I'm not married, right? And in love right now. I spent the entire day like in my underwear sorting my magic cards. But yeah, like that's the important thing to do is you can as with anything, right? Moderation. Engage with this stuff if you like it, but also remember to step away, remember to breathe, and remember that almost 99% of the time, 99.8% of the time, if you see something that instantly clicks like your rage trigger or confirms a bias or a suspicion you thought you had that was completely off the wall, interrogate it, because you're going to find reality is sometimes more banal or sometimes more awful or better than it actually seems, right? But yeah, I use for my like Twitter, obviously my account, I use the Bounding account a lot because I use that for news. I follow actors and pundits and studios and yada yada. But when I go onto my account, it is specifically curated for like magic memes, comic book stuff, like anime waifus, and shit posts. Like I specifically go out of my way to curate what I'm looking at. Oh, and tokusatsu posts, right? So, but that's what I was getting at earlier is like, once you just say, hey, everybody come on in, and there are no guardrails and no guidance at even just like hey, if you're interested in this, go here or that. Like, if you just throw them into the deep end, people are going to drown. A lot of people are going to drown. A lot of people are going to drown. Susan who says, wish I caught this from the start. Hey, don't even worry. We've only been live for about 40 minutes, and any amount of time that you can hang out with us, that you're willing to spend your time with us, we appreciate it. We're super thankful. And yeah, Susan, you're here all the time. Don't even trip, my friend. But if you're speaking simply from a discussion standpoint, you can always rewind. We'll pause right here. We'll pause for 40 minutes. All right, everybody. We're just gonna wait for Susanu to catch up. No, I can't even keep that joke going. That's I'm not even good with that joke. Yes, definitely Susanu. I do know that. We'll mention that when we get to Netflix and Warner Brothers in just a second. Oh, Timon, man. Timon says, shitty weekend. We're on death watch for my grandma. Hey, dude, I know there's nothing I can say, or really anybody can say, to sort of make anything better. I can offer you my sympathies and tell you, as somebody who has gone through that with multiple loved ones, from grandmas to aunts to my own father, on like actual like death watch too, right? Like, we knew nobody died violently or whatever. It was just like, oh, we know it's coming. Is it like, oh shit? So I know how awful it is. All I can really say is, I'm glad you're here and you're at least not staying completely within your own thoughts. And if there's anything we can do for you, if there's anything I can do for you in the limited capacity we can, let us know. Because again, I know this isn't to say Timon's going to go out and be like, oh, everybody give me money. This is not what this is not that grifter bullshit. We don't trade on that here. But like, if you need to laugh, if you want, to go watch a game stream or something, like, we can help you out. Because there's nothing worse than that. Like, I have nothing to add to that. I wish, genuinely, man to man, I wish I could, give you one of those like good, just like bear hugs and be like, we got you, man. We got you. Susanu says, don't miss the modem sounds nor all of the noise that computers used to make. Do remember that for whatever reason. Well, you probably remember it because it was one of those cases of you didn't catch it, but your brain did, because with the computer sounds, like, you're just hearing that all the time in the background, right? Of course, it's going to like needle its way in there. But then with the sound, even if we're not paying attention to the modem connection sound, it's the same sound every time. It's got kind of a musical like flow to it. And we all had to listen to it almost every time, right? Unless you like got up while it was connecting. So like, I still remember the modem sounds, right? Like, it's great. In the future, Susanu, that will be like in our post-apocalypse, like after all the nukes fly or whatever, right? We'll be able to find each other. The people who know how to rebuild society with technology, we can find each other by just like, that'll be our cry, instead of like code words, just and if they don't give like any of those sounds back, on the spot, traitors. Yeah, absolutely, Susanu. Like, you hit it on the head. On the note of our phones and our connectivity and everything we were talking about social media, we're oversaturated and overloaded. We don't have the fuel to burn on this level of our biological bandwidth being hijacked by our devices. And that's 1,000% true. Like, the way I think of it, guys, right? Like, again, for all that I love the information availability and connectivity, it's like, we were not meant to live in a world where I have to get like the day-to-day goings-ons and opinions of somebody in Britain, right? Like a regular person in Britain. We're not meant for that. Because especially one thing that happens with what you're saying there, Susanu, is like, if you're not thinking and if you're not, interrogating who you're listening to, who made the post or whatever, a lot of people will just see random poster is on Twitter, just like, a president or a senator. They must be on the same level of authority. And so now they're both like, not only are they listening to everybody that confirms what they say, but now every like, oh, somebody in Europe said they didn't like, my political party, or somebody in Africa said they didn't like the way we were, they disagreed with our economy. Instead of seeing those as just like, whatever, okay, you're some person. Now a lot of people see as like, that's the guy on the street who just walked by me and started talking shit. And it's just like, no, man, it's not. We're not meant for this. Like, yeah, Susanu, you hit it like right on the. If I was able to like if I could like take that tweet and like pin it somewhere here on our overlay, I would put it like right there for the rest of the stream, because I'm like, perfect. Yes, no, that is not a weird way to say this. We require rest. Being always plugged in isn't really good for our health. I mean, it's yes, you're not giving medical advice, but this is, and I appreciate that you're being smart about it. You're like, I'm covering all my bases. Like I totally see what you're doing there. Like, and I'm not angry or anything, right? Like it's actually good. I should have thought that too. But it's true. We do need rest, right? Like think about even when you get on like a workout plan, even if you're an athlete, right? You got to have a rest day. You can't work out every single day or your body will just collapse. You will give out. And as you keep pushing yourself, you start, working towards failure because you are so tired and you don't have that rest. Think about like when you're bench pressing and okay, it's only 20 pounds, we can do this. But after, 70, I guess not sets, but like 70 pushes, whatever, rows, like it's gonna weigh on your arms and it's gonna, you're gonna start shaking and going, ooh, and then you get more prone to injury, right? When you're like, oh, I can do this, and you start arcing your back weird, or you tense up one weird muscle, and you get hurt. Susan is completely right. Like, we need that rest for your mind, for your body, for your soul, even, right? Like, Andrew and I have talked about this on the last couple foil variants, but like he and I, we make it a point at least one day out of the week, usually obviously, either Saturday or Sunday, considering the nature of our jobs, but we make it a point to like, okay, today I'm going to hang out. I might be at my computer. I'm not doing internet. Like I'm not talking to anybody. I'm not here to be on social media. I'm going to play a game. If I need to talk to somebody, I'll either just like Discord DM them or I'll text them, preferably text them, just because you got to remember, like we've got to rest. We've got to keep things separate, and it's hard. Don't get me wrong, guys. It's fucking hard. I struggle with this so much, right? Like I don't know how to rest. I don't know how to take a day off of work. I've taken one vacation in my entire post-college like working career, right? Ever since I left, graduated college at 20, 21, got my first job in the corporate world, bang on through. And like, yeah, I've gone and taken trips, but I'm still working on them. I'm still writing articles. I'm still editing things. I'm still coordinating. So it's something I know I need to work on. Like I'm not saying this to be like me, guys. Like, no, that's not good. I should rest. We should all rest. Yeah, Timon says his first PC was a Pentium 233. Dude, do they even make what's Pentium? Like, is that even a thing anymore? I know because then it was like Pentium with Intel or Pentium with Intel. I think they just got like absorbed by Intel at some point, right? That's Pentium's funny because they should have been there, but then like they or what am I trying to say? I'm explaining that really terribly. They're funny because they were the first of those like alternate Windows platform, like Windows PCs pre-builts to kind of like go out. Like they were the first in, first out. Because then there was like, yeah, like Dell was like the big one when we were kids, at least. Now we've got some that are more like Asus and Acer, but it's definitely a much smaller like pool of competition. And then, yeah, Susan says, kind of my problem. My first PC ran on a tape drive. No idea what it was even called. Okay, you say tape drive, and now I'm like, you weren't even using like an actual computer. You were probably like, it's like that joke, right? Like you were typing into something, and then on the other line or like the other end, there was somebody with like getting like Morse code from you and being like, oh shit. Okay, put it on the magnetic tape, Okay, now send it back, right? Like that's hilarious. Yeah, I was slightly tempted. If it was like 10 minutes, I might have done it. But because it was 40, I was like just a little over the threshold. Let's see. I had an MSX that worked with cassette tapes too. Dude, listen to all these old like systems coming up, man. Like an MSX. You gonna tell me you had a PCI 8 or a PC 88 next? Yeah, exactly. So, do you speak modem? Because we do. This is if you don't speak modem, you can right? Like hell yeah, get that out of there. The only thing he could remember working on that MSX was Contra. Dude, my cousin, like Contra, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles NES game, and what was that? Oh, Excite Bike. my cousin, like my older cousin, had a Nintendo when we were growing up, and he had those 3 games. And whenever I went over to their house, that's all I would do because I was a fat little nerd. And man, like those are Contra, like they're burned into my brain. Even though I'm not particularly good at Contra, I'm really good at those first 2 or 3 levels. Yeah. Hypertrophy. Yep, exactly. Same concepts, just mental versus physical, right? Oh, yes, that is true too, right? Susan, that's a good what am I trying to say? Like clarification to add here, right? Because while we all colloquially say like you've got to work out to get stronger, yes, but when we say that, we're missing a giant portion of it, which is not that we're getting stronger from the working out. We're getting stronger, as Susanu points out, from the rest. Because what happens, and this is just super interesting. I've always loved this imagery and this idea, this concept ever since I learned about it. Like when you work out, what you're essentially doing is you are pushing your muscles past their limit and they're tearing. So that soreness, that pain you feel is those are your muscles like actually tearing from being stressed out too much. We rest, and in that rest period, all of our, calories, our food, it all works inside of us to repair us. So then we are repaired stronger. Our muscles are essentially Saiyans, right? You damage them, and once they heal, they come back stronger. I mean, to a certain extent. I mean, if you get a fucking like harpoon gun through your spleen, it's not coming back. Or if you if you get lung cancer, I'm not entirely sure that just smoking more and then stopping is going to help you. But that is the base level of how it happens, and that's the important. And that's something like in terms of the mental part that we're talking, Susanu, like where this rest comes into play and is super important is it's that rest that allows your brain to settle everything in your brain. If you're feeling anxious or like you've got everything to do and nothing can seem to like get off your schedule, you need a moment, like you need a day, a half a day to breathe and let your brain go idle so that in its idle moments, its passing thoughts can go like, oh, maybe I can put that off till tomorrow. Oh, that's a better headline than I had before. Oh, wait, blah, 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 blah. So yes, 100%. Like the biggest takeaway from today's stream, rest, everybody. Rest. Yeah, right. Susanu is good, not having to explain what I'm saying. Spencer will. That's kind of the dynamic I always feel on these streams, right? Is that like I will babble forever and I'll be like, yeah, no, this is the explanation. Here you go. And then whether it's like you or Cider or Andrew specific, like in particular, you guys will just be like, here's one word. Do you mean this? Like, do you mean like a hypertrophy? Yeah, that is what I mean. I guess I'm just stupid. Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah. You had to program things onto the drive to use it. Like you had to I gotta open up a word processor. Let me build a new like motherboard for this thing. That's awesome. All right. But with that, we're all caught up on chat. Timon, again, we're here for you, man. If at any moment you feel like, holy shit, I could use some help, or talk about something more fun, let's go. We've got Elegant Chess. Can I get you a free haircut? Oh, dude, I absolutely need a haircut. Don't even. I actually had to trim my sideburns earlier, like last night, because they were starting to do the Peter Parker, John Romita thing, and that's when it gets way too long. So I definitely think in the coming week I'm gonna go chop this off. The problem was, you guys know this, like I normally try to keep my hair like medium short, on the shorter side. I was growing it a little bit, and I brought up like, oh yeah, I'm thinking of cutting it maybe next week, and like a bunch of women I know, like friends, potential like might be cools, like they were all like, no, your hair's perfect where it is right now, like it's at a good, like we like this. And I went, okay, I don't like it, but if it works, it works. And now, as we all know with hair, it's like you get about like a month, maybe if you're lucky, of like good hair window, and then it's completely off the rails, and we're off the rails at this point. All right, perfect. Yes, come to my house. You'll be here at 5. I will be here. Make sure you learn how to buzz like shapes and stuff into heads. Like I'm gonna want a bunch of those. Don't know what, dealer's choice. All right, surprise me, even though I know full well what that might entail. All right. But with us being caught up on chat, let's start talking about some just general topics. Again, these are just main topics to bring up for conversation. And then if you guys have anything, if you have anything on your mind that you guys want to talk about, as always, drop it in the chat. I am more than happy. I am more interested in hearing from you guys and, whatever's on your mind and talking to you guys as people instead of just, saying something and expecting you all to be so stupid that you just believe me outright, right? I respect you guys a little bit more than that. Zero it, dude. I could zero it. I've zeroed it before, and I actually don't look bad zeroing it. I only hate the uniform growth out that happens, because then I get super Asian hair, and it goes from bald to peach fuzzy to shave to bowl cut immediately. I just cannot escape it. Yep, absolutely, Susanu. That is where we were going right now. Also, Punk says, I'm looking forward to the first issue of the new Darkness coming out next week. I am too. I cannot believe they are bringing the Darkness back. I love Jackie. It's weird too, because I read a little Witchblade back in the day. I liked it. I just, for some reason, in my, teenage brain, early adult brain, I just never caught up with it. I love Spawn for what I've read of it. I've read the first couple 200 or whatever. Still got to catch up on that. Youngblood, whatever. It's Youngblood. Rob, I love you as a person, but come on, we don't need another Youngblood reboot. But I always liked the Darkness because he was unapologetically 90s edgy, taken to an extreme. And there was no attempt to make him redeemable or make him relatable or misunderstood. It was just Jackie is a bad guy. Jackie got fucked over. Now Jackie's going to go fuck over the guys who fucked him over with this new power. And so from what I've heard from Andrew, who's currently reading all of the Image stuff, I think he said Jackie appeared in a Witchblade issue that happened, and he's it's good. The main thing he said that sticks out to me is it's the same character, Witchblade, Spawn, Darkness, they're all going through revivals over the last couple years, and Andrew's they're the same characters, but with just a little one extra layer of depth. And I'm ooh, that's interesting. But so I love it when it comes when that comes to Sarah, or when it comes to Ironside, or even Al himself, right? Spawn himself. But I even told this to Andrew. I was man, I don't know about extra layers to Jackie, because what extra layer do you add to an asshole that, unless you keep him just the complete scum jerk, I don't know how it's gonna work. Also, they did this weird thing, he's getting, in his new suit, he's got this weird diamond on his chest that just sits right here. Why am I doing it on myself? I can just pull it up. And it's, admittedly, it is not that fucking big of a deal. It just happens to bug the hell out of me because it just is kind of a whack looking thing. A whack design choice. Let me just pull up the original for comparison. The Darkness. Okay, let's see. Go over add you. So, as Darkness readers may remember, as Darkness members or readers may remember, this is what Jackie looked like back in the 90s. Super, leaning into that alien spike stuff that we had going with Spawn and Venom and all that stuff. Little bit of a Super Shredder. You can see that influence coming from the 90s movie, Turtles movies coming out. Then we have, so this is the cover to the relaunch that's dropping next week. It's still the same concept for Jackie's suit, but they've like MCU'd it a little. And yeah, I'm not a fan of it, because especially like, what is that diamond supposed to, unless that diamond transforms into something or something comes out of there, I don't know, man. It just feels like a lazy, he's got to have something there, break it up, throw a little diamond in there. But yeah, super stoked about that. Oh yeah, we definitely need to go to like certain barbers and stylists and stuff. But what I was saying is that I'm kind of frivolous, so I'll wait until my hair gets shag and I need to get a cut. So I would go through that awkward from bald to completely like hair again. It would uniform grow out, and I'm not going to go to a stylist. It's just I will suffer and I will endure through the bowl cut phase. Lewis Malfant. Hey, what's going on, Lewis? I can't look at that. 2 from Facebook today. That stokes me up. So Superman will be gay and not white anymore. You did it, Netflix. Well, that's a good lead in. Let's get into that. Let's pull up the big news of the week. As I'm sure everybody saw from, every news outlet, whether it was like IGN or the Hollywood Reporter, to us, obviously, we covered it as well. As of yesterday, Netflix and Warner Brothers have entered into a, what is that? What was the exact term? It is a definitive agreement to sell all of Warner Brothers assets, everything it owns, to Netflix, essentially, acquiring it, bringing it under its fold. As Susanu pointed out earlier at the top, this is not a done deal yet. Right now, at current, as of writing, as of this show, as of these sentences, the deal has been agreed upon between Netflix and Warner Brothers. It still needs to go to the FCC, the United States Federal Trade Commission, or FTC, not FCC, FTC, for monopoly review. And there's even though we don't know how it's going to play out, I foresee there being substantial, significant issues in Warner Brothers in this sale, because it's not necessarily I still hate it, but David Ellison, the current CEO of Paramount, him and his father Larry Ellison are major donors to President Trump, and also personal friends of President Trump, right? And as we've already seen over the past couple of weeks, Trump's already tried to sort of tip the scale, which is completely illegal, but who gives a shit anymore, because our Congress is completely fucking dickless. But I can see more of that happening as we enter the review process, and as it goes under official government, we can approve it or not approve it. I can see more pressure coming from Trump. Whether that affects anything or not, I'm not entirely sure. I will say David Ellison's kind of being a little bitch about this, like a severe bitch, where Netflix bought, they entered the agreement. Warner Brothers agreed with Netflix. They rejected Paramount's offer. Now he's accusing them of I'm going to do a hostile takeover because that wasn't fair. You didn't open this up to a proper bidding process. And I'm like, the bidding process is you fucking tell them what you have to offer, and they say yes or no. There's no lottery system. There's no rubric. Warner Brothers didn't even say we will accept all offers that hit this. They just said, we're open to offers, but sweeten the pot. And now David Ellison is trying to cry, and he's filing lawsuits. And I'm like, get fuck out of here. And that's where I'm also torn, because I don't know, is it better for Warner Brothers to be the American institution that is Warner Brothers to be held by Netflix, which is going to be just a general dearth on both Hollywood and films in general, as we'll get into? Or do you want them owned by Saudi Arabia? Because that's how David Ellison was getting the funding for Paramount to buy Warner Brothers, was via investments from the Saudis and the Saudi Investment Fund, right? So for me, the horse is it's still out on which one was the worst, would have been the worst outcome. So, Well, yeah, according to, yeah, we definitely do need to see their filings and everything. And yes, they also got to go through the SEC. So there's a lot that they've got to do there. That's all got to go for review. But at base, they have, it is not a done deal. Netflix does not yet own Warner Brothers. For all intents and purposes, they do, but it still needs to go through. And then the date of the actual like deal sale has to pass. And then everything will fly, right? But this sale involved Netflix paying about $70.7 billion for Warner Brothers base library, or not base library. So let me rephrase that. They paid $70.7 billion for the entirety of Warner Brothers. So that's everything from their IPs to their theme park investments, like in Universal, to DC Comics, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, as far as movie rights go, NetherRealm Studios, all of these places are now completely under the purview of Netflix. Now, I know on its face, a lot of people have taken this as sort of a, well, on one hand, there's the, what did you expect, Warner Brothers? You did this to yourself, which is true. Don't get me wrong. Warner Brothers has been shooting itself in the foot for years. Bringing in David Zaslav was a terrible, terrible move, because these CEOs, like right now, a lot of the entertainment CEOs and video game studio CEOs and all of this shit, they don't care. They don't know anything about what they're working with, right? David Zaslav isn't a movie guy. He's not a video game guy. He's not a franchise guy. You know what he did before? He was like an investment banker or like a financial advisor. Yes, it was at one of the more successful firms in America, but that's still, they're only bringing these people in because they go, you can maximize profits, right? And they go, yeah, we can absolutely do that. We can absolutely maximize profits. And so, wait, did I finish what I was saying? Okay, hold on. I gotta reset because I think I completely skipped over something. But yeah, so the sale on its face, $70 billion USD in payment. However, that's going to play out, as Susan noted. We need to see the filings. So 70.7 there, and then who is it? Netflix agreed to take on 10 point like something. Oh, there it is, 10.7 in debt of Warner Brothers debt, right? So like Warner Brothers gets 80, but then they also get, or they get 70, then they get a 10 billion credit because that debt is going to be completely shifted over to Netflix, who will handle it from now on. Discovery, by the way, in case all this merger stuff has left you a little confused, Discovery Global is not included in this, or it is included in this. I set that up weird. I know I was trying to say that to you as an authoritative source, and then I like questioned myself while I was saying it. That's not what I meant. My brain misfired there. So earlier this year, in service of shifting around debt and trying to get back to profitability, Warner Brothers spun off all their Discovery stuff, right, after acquiring the company, into a subsidiary holding called Discovery Global, which is absolutely included in the deal. It is just a separate like under entity. It's very, very strange. Unless you are a massive Animal Planet viewer, I don't know if you really need to worry about it, right? But with this, a lot of people have taken this news and they're going, A, yes, you did it to yourself, which I think we can all agree with, and also B, like, what does it matter? Just okay, so it's another studio buys another studio. That's not what this is, unfortunately, right? Like, we are not looking at just a studio buying a studio. The problem with Netflix buying the Warner Brothers is, at the top, at base, the issue here is that we will now see the quality of everything and the risks and the inventiveness and all of that completely out the window, right? And I know it sounds hyperbolic because people will go, well, they're in the business of making money. Don't they want movies? They've already got the business. Why would they blah, 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 blah. So let's go through that, right? And because, again, I know it sounds hyperbolic, and I'm normally the one who goes, whoa, that's not really, completely on point. But in this case, it unfortunately is on point. So, as we know, Netflix streamer, they were the ones who, blew up the streaming world, who introduced the concept to everybody. In not recent years, last year, Ted Sarandos, the co-CEO of Netflix, came out and basically said the theater distribution model is dead. Nobody cares about it. Like we don't care about it. That's why Netflix doesn't really support it. Even now, when their films, when they want to enter their films for Oscar eligibility, they give them a physical release, but it's only like 2 weeks, if that, if fucking that. Hold on. So, shit, what was I saying? Okay, so Netflix does not believe in theatrical. Like they go, we care about our consumers. We want to give it to our members. We want to make it, convenient for them to watch movies, which I'm sure we all do enjoy, a streaming movie every now and then. There have been some good things. There have been some, more often than not, really, really terrible things. But here's the ruse, right? Here's the rub. Yesterday, during all of the hubbubaloo, Sarandos and the rest of Netflix's leadership board held a conference call with the press, with investors, all of that fun stuff. And they basically said, they were asked directly, like, are you going to be shortening release windows for Warner Brothers films? And Sarandos danced around it, but he did say in very corporate speak, we are looking to make, like it's in the headline here. What is that exact quote? Yeah, they're going to make release windows, quote, more consumer friendly. Here's why that right there is basically the death rattle, or at least like the sound of a very major injury headed towards the entire medium of film, the entire film industry. Warner Brothers is a fucking, they've been an American institution. They were founded in 1918. They led the way in like synchronized sound on movies. They've been here, right? And a lot with that reputation, with the reputation they've built up, Warner Brothers is one of the major like blockbuster production houses. I mean, just look at the last couple years alone. We've gotten Superman, we've gotten Dune, we had all the Wizarding World movies. Those movies, guys, regardless of whether you like them or not, even if you do, even if you don't, they cost money, a lot of money, especially when you have to pay big, significant actors, right? Like Scarlett Johansson when they did Black Widow, or what is that movie? The Ryan Reynolds, Sam Jackson, like spy one that they do. Oh, the Bodyguard's wife or the Bodyguard's hitman or whatever, right? Like you've got to pay them. But then if you're trying to deliver an experience like a Dune, like a Superman, you've got to spend on your effects team, on, giving, you got to buy their time, give them the proper amount of working room to, make something good and not terrible. For Netflix is, as we have seen in the past with everything, like it's a meme at this point, right? Netflix is so cancel happy. If they see something that doesn't, absolutely blow the stock price up, they cancel it. Or they say, we're going to do it, but we're going to significantly cut its budget. So first of all, let's just say, I'll make up like, let's say Man of Tomorrow, right? Next year or 2027, the next Superman movie, whichever one it is, whatever year it's in. Let's take that. Let's say that's our first test case example for Netflix's ownership of Warner Brothers. In our hypothetical, this is the first movie Netflix will be releasing under their Warner Brothers banner, if you will, right? So you drop Superman, Man of Tomorrow in theaters. It did pretty damn well. It's doing really great in the like home market, great word of mouth. People are really like snapping to it. If they make that release window more consumer friendly, you're cutting that window of profitability for Superman by like 3 months, right? They already kind of did that with the first one in order to get it out before Peacemaker season 2. And we all and look what happened. Superman ended up, ending its theatrical run just short of like what Man of Steel had made. Okay, not like just by like 0.01 million, but within the realm, within a stone's throw of Man of Steel. But then Man of Steel had a significant theatrical run, right? So Man of Tomorrow goes into theaters, in theaters for a month. It comes out. Theaters are going to go, holy shit, we made no money from that because now the draw is gone. We're not getting that extra 3 months of people coming in and buying snacks or drinks or whatever. They're going to be on even more life support than they already are. Once Netflix gets those returns, right, they're going to go, why wasn't this movie as profitable as it should have been? I don't get it. It couldn't be the fact that we shortened the release window. It has to be the fact that this was just a bad movie and nobody wants it and it's a bad investment. So I guarantee they'll go, Man of Steel didn't perform, or Man of Tomorrow didn't perform as well as we wanted it to. Yeah, we're going to need to make this change, or we're going to need to do this, or we're going to cancel it, or we need you to revamp it like this because we really need to chase that, 0.001% boost in profit for our stockholders. And that right there, that is the black hole nexus at the center of this that's going to destroy everything or further destroy the film industry, which is if you don't have those big blockbusters going into theaters aren't going to make money, and thus theaters will die off even harder than they already are. Without that money coming in, without that theatrical money coming in for the studios, for Netflix, they're going to look at any given project and go, I don't know about this. I don't think it was profitable. We might have to cancel. And off we go, right? I mean, I don't give a shit. I thought it was terrible, but Rebel Moon, Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon, so much of a hubbubaloo was made about that. Netflix was like, oh, we've got Zack. We've got 2 movies and an animated thing and comics and a possible video game, and we are going all in on Rebel Moon. What happened? Like, they stopped after the second movie, and it's just dead. Nobody's doing anything with it. Nobody even talks about Rebel. A Rebel Moon comic comes out next week. It's like issue 4 of its ongoing series. And I'm like, holy crap, that might be the only thing that's still going with that title, right? So if they pull the plug that easy, imagine how easy it would be for them to either pull the plug or just straight up not greenlight something where sorry, shit, I lost my train of thought again. It's fucking hot in here. I think that is what I'm like, sweating up a storm, and it's making me uncomfortable, and it's making me lose my train of thought. So I need to turn on the air. That would be nice. On air. Cool. All right. So, yeah, with Netflix's, propensity for just canceling things, who knows? Like, will James Gunn be allowed to do the DCU, or are they just going to cancel, anything that doesn't immediately blow everybody out of the water and do $1 billion? And God forbid you want to experiment with something. We're not going to get, experimental films, whether like artsy films or very niche films, or like, I would love to death a, like, I don't know, why am I blanking on who I'm trying to think of right now? Oh, a Kyle Rayner movie, right? Like whatever it might be. I know a lot of people don't really care. But, in days past, DC might still go, okay, we're going to do an animated thing. Or, okay, we're going to go do a CW show with this. Or even, okay, we're going to do it in the live action movie. That's not going to happen anymore because it's too risky. We need to ensure profit. So what you are going to see is just a severe reduction in the quality of Warner Brothers output. You are going to see a general just lowering of standards across the industry as, you know, theaters die off and budgets start getting, you know, shunted around mainly for marketing and that sort of stuff rather than actually producing the film. And then I genuinely fear, this is the part that really bugs the fuck out of me the most. I really fear that even, okay, when it comes to comic books, the big two, yes, both DC and Marvel have, you know, cinematic universes, and yes, they both aim for synergy every so often. Sorry about that. You know, you make a movie, you make a show, you retcon something, you introduce the outfit, yada yada yada, what have you. And we also know that there are also those times when they're like, oh, look, a new character in this comic. And it's very clearly just like oh, we're testing this out for media. Naomi, perfect example. Naomi from DC, right? But as it stands, Marvel is way fucking worse about this stuff, right? Like, not only does Marvel forcefully throw in shit from the MCU, even when it doesn't make sense. Like, they go out of their way to make things line up. In, you know, the one that always sticks out to me is Spider-Man. And this wasn't even MCU. This was back during the Raimi films. They did an entire event called The Other, which was actually kind of terrible, but it was all in service of giving Pete organic web shooters. That was it. Because Tobey Maguire had them in the movies. It was a fucking 4-month event that they like advertised everywhere. It was a big thing, and it was just that. Marvel is, oh, I mean, for a more recent example, there was a series they published last year, Marvel Zombies like Decay, which is like, oh, it had the Marvel Zombies title, the Marvel Zombies branding, kind of implies that we're going to be going into like that zombie, it's not Earth 616, but that specific zombified Earth, right? Like the one we've seen in all the comics, the one we saw in Ultimate Comics, or that we saw in Ultimate Fantastic Four. Instead, instead, you open the book and it's a complete, like, it's not even zombies, or here, let me restart that. When you open the book, you soon discover that the Avengers featured in it are they are very clearly the MCU Avengers, right? Because Scott Lang takes off his helmet and he's got short brown hair or short black hair, which if anybody reads the comics knows that comic book Scott is a ginger redhead, like all the way through. So that was like out of nowhere. So, oh, okay, it's the MCU cast. And then, yeah, instead of zombies, they were infected by like a plant sort of zombification virus that could be cured because, hey, it's the MCU. No MCU advertising, nothing. They were just like, oh, this is a comic. And no, it wasn't. But on the other hand, DC, they are much, much better about both like not pulling in full synergy from the DC EU or whatever they've got going on, but also to that end, you know, Marvel is so concerned about that synergy, about marketing their characters, that they don't let anything change between them, right? Like everybody is pretty much the same character they were in 1975. Whereas in DC, things are actually allowed to evolve. Batman and Superman have sons. Barry is not the current Flash, you know, things like that. So all that to say, my number one fear is that from here on out, Netflix is going to go into overdrive with just turning DC into a content farm, right? Like, I don't actually believe Netflix cares about art or like filmmaking or the medium or the industry. They don't. They only think, like most of these corporations do, about making money. So like this is very bleak, regardless of whether you like Netflix or like Warner Brothers. I don't like either of them, but that still doesn't mean just because I get to see Warner Brothers take a shot to the chops, okay, that's great in the moment, but then the result is that everything else when it comes to movies get worse. Is it worth it to have that one, you know, moment of like, haha, to then suffer for the next 2 decades? No, like we're not 12 years old, right? We have critical thinking skills. We can be smart. We can be more mature than this. So it's bleak. I'm not going to lie to you guys. This whole deal is exceptionally bleak. Who knows? You know, obviously it still needs to play out. It still needs to be approved. If it does get that, we'll wait and see. But I have zero optimism here. I was joking with, I think, Andrew last night or another friend, and I was like, DC Stranger Things next year, clock it. Like, it's gonna fucking happen. And that, even though I was, okay, lots of that happened, like DC Sonic happened or Godzilla versus Marvel, but like something about Stranger Things just feels so corporate planty and producty that it doesn't feel good. That feels exceptionally cash grabby. So who knows what, like, at current, nobody knows what the future holds. But if we were to be betting men, I would recommend betting on it's all about to get bad. Like, it's going to get pretty bad. I'm not seeing any sort of like upside to this. Like, I truly am not. Even video games are going to get worse. They're going to probably start putting a bunch of like not only exclusives, but story important exclusives on, like, because did you guys know this? Netflix has games. Like, they're very casual things. Here, let's see. Can I pull it up? Let's make sure I'm logged in first. Boom. Here, I'll sign in real quick. That's not the right code. Well, I don't know my password for Netflix right now. But anyway, yeah, Netflix has sort of like a streaming game offering on their platform, on their app. I know they have like there's probably like a website we can go to. Netflix games. Netflix games. There we go. Netflix mobile games. Show them to me. Pardon me. So yeah, like, they don't have, it's not a terrible selection of things, to be fair. Like, you can play Red Dead, you can play Sonic Mania Plus, you can play Shredder's Revenge, which is that really awesome beat 'em up from .emu like 2 years ago. There's also, where is it? I know it's on here too. Where is it? Oh, do they not actually have it on here? Oh, it might be under puzzle. Oh, maybe I'm just crazy. Is it simulation? Well, I guess not, because I am not finding the game I was thinking of. But as you can see, they have streaming options that you do natively from within the app, onto your TV, kind of like that Amazon Luna thing that they tried out that completely failed spectacularly. So like, they have dabbled in this, and I'm not necessarily opposed to games being like mobile gaming or gaming offerings being an additional thing that just, is an extra. You don't focus on it. You don't start putting things on there, but you're like, hey, if you're a Netflix subscriber, what would be cool? You can play Red Dead if you're bored. That, like, I'm not opposed to that at all. I think that's hyper consumer friendly. I worry. I mean, come on. How many of you felt what I felt while we were looking through this? Like, they're gonna do what was Supergirl up to on her way home from Woman of Tomorrow to the next Superman movie? Find out in, Kara's space flight, only on the Netflix Mobile Center. And what are we doing here at this point? The entire point of Netflix, why people love it so much, is the user experience. I talk about this all the time. Half of the, not even 75% of a business or like a service thriving and succeeding and picking up customers is ease of use, right? How many times have all of us out there gone like, oh, I'd love to read this, news article, or I'd love to read this free comic or download this game. And they go, oh, could you actually give us, can you sign up for a free account? And you just go, I'm good. And you leave, right? Even though it's free, it's that convenience. It's that idea of like people don't want more to do. So if you're telling me, okay, this is all linked together, go, you just finished Supergirl, go play a Netflix mobile fucking game. Okay, well, what if my device doesn't work? What if, like, it just, I don't know. It's just, none of this makes me feel good. And I know I'm just rambling at this point, but yeah, I feel as desolate as Peacemaker here with the door to Sanctuary closing. So with that, obviously I know you guys have been chatting. Let's see what you guys have to say about the Netflix Warner Brothers deal. Timon says WB staying the same was bad because the stupid people are in charge. Selling to Netflix is bad because of the stupid people in charge. There's a pattern here. Yeah. And that's what I was getting at. I think I might have jumped off the point a little quickly earlier, but all the people in charge of these companies, they don't care about movies or video games. They care about profit. And so they're not looking at things on the ground from a perspective like we would, right? For example, we see something like, I don't know, a comic book miniseries might get published, right? Oh, for example, Mr. Tomorrow or Mr. Terrific just got a miniseries, right? That started coming out right with the release of Superman. As comic book fans, we all understand that Mr. Terrific's probably not the most popular character. Even after Superman, he's still not probably popular enough to carry a full book. And so, but he has fans and somebody wants to tell a story about it. So what do? We put it in a mini series. Maybe it does, okay in sales. Maybe it doesn't. But at the very least, we've given, an artist a chance, a writer a chance. Fans of this character got something new, whether it's good or bad. Things are happening. Let me rephrase that conclusion. This is all positive, regardless of the fact that it isn't raking in $1 zillion every issue. The people in charge, the David Zaslavs, the Ted Sarandos, they see that and they go, what is the point of making this miniseries? We're wasting money to pay the artist. We're wasting money to pay the writer. We're wasting their time that they could be spent on a Batman book, right? And it's not going to make us money, if any. Click, close, end. Which, how does that not sound completely terrible? Nobody's going to be able to create or experiment. We'll get nothing new unless it comes from a James Cameron, and he's dying. They're all going to die soon, man. They're doing a Variety has a series called Actors on Actors, right? Where they have just an actor interview another actor. It's actually kind of a cool series, but they announced the lineup for this year, and it has the first one was, or some of them are Ethan Hawke and Sydney Sweeney, Adam Sandler and Ariana Grande. And I'm looking at this and I'm going this is a stark contrast between old and new media, where even at his worth, Adam Sandler sucks, but we also know there's some level of earnestness and connection to the craft. I don't think when he makes Grown Ups 2, Adam Sandler is going this is it, guys. Holy shit. Yeah. He's going, I get to take me and my friends out on a vacation and they get to make a couple million off of this. Whatever. Right? None of that's going to happen those are the only people who are going to get these movies because there are no stars anymore. There are very few known named, not no name, but known, named directors out there, right? You got your Ryan Coogler, you got your what's his name? The guy from Weapons, Zach Kreger, you got your okay. I just realized I'm the worst person to be giving this because I actually do know a lot of these obscure nerds because I seek that out, right? I just realized I was about to go mention some really they make a lot of toku and Japanese film adaptations and stuff, but nobody's gonna know who they are. But yeah, that is the pattern, is that the people who get put in charge aren't caring about the product. They literally do not give a shit about what they're putting out as long as they make profit. if David Zaslav could find a way to sell us like a bat signal shaped piece of actual shit just wrapped in a paper towel, he would do it immediately. These guys don't care about brand reputation or goodwill or, you know, a company, like a culture, if you will. Again, I'm not never talking about any of that gay, like, white supremacy bullshit, but like, you know, the internal studio culture or the culture of Hollywood, the culture of filmmaking, right? Like, it's all, like, it's going to be bad. They don't care about they do not care about it. So why would they give it any mind? It's just not in their brains. Let's see. Yep. As I said, yeah, this gives Netflix all of, like I said, Warner Brothers, everything Warner Brothers owns, from their IPs to their patents to their, you know, their parking passes, will belong to Netflix if this goes through. So, like, that's another thing. We're still never going to get a fucking Nemesis system ever again. You think Netflix knows what to do with the Nemesis system from Shadows of War and Mordor? No. But Monolith and Warner Brothers copyrighted it. Warner Brothers copyrighted it specifically, so nobody else can ever use it. We have 2 games with an amazing mechanic. Never again, right? Like, again, bleak. Yeah. Oh, hell yeah. That was literally the thing you brought up, was the Nemesis system. Let's see. Timon says, or well, Susanu says, they may do what they did to the writers of the shows and force weird rules on them, and that is more what I'm concerned about, right? And like, it's less the, how do I put this? I have criticized my fair share of, you know, overtly activist based, you know, casting decisions or writing decisions or movie decisions, from race swaps to, oh, we're going to change the story into a story. I don't like any of that. Like, I am completely against that. However, there has been like a giant overreaction and hysteria over this in recent years, because yes, guys, there was a period where it got really, really bad, and we were getting like harangued with all of the DEI and like, you're a bad person if you're not watching this meet. I was there. I get it. I wrote all about it I have, and I'm still writing about it for years. But it is completely overblown in the sense that, like, nobody is sitting there and going like, make everybody gay, make everybody black. And it, like, that's just not how things work. So I don't worry about like, oh, we got to like make sure all of DC is gay. Like, that's hyperbolic, never going to happen. And the more people, not that you are using this argument, but the more that argument comes up, the more people can dismiss critics of the deal as like, oh, you're just kind of dumb. But where the weird rules that I worry about come in are kind of what we touched upon a second ago, in terms of, oh, you have this, well, we need to market this, so you have to have, you know, Batman in here. And James Gunn goes, but like, that kind of doesn't jive with what we have planned. Well, you're going to do it because we're the boss, and this will make us money, right? And it's and even off of that point is like, because they don't know this stuff, they don't know what necessarily these companies don't understand the fields they trade in. So they are always chasing trends. There's very rarely innovation coming out of these studios, right? You get something every once in a while. Universal dropped us Iron Man back in 2008, set up a whole new paradigm of superhero movies, but then that, you know, the MCU became superhero movies, and then DC got on the game and they just tried copying it. So like, they're going to see things, and okay, best example, even though it's a different studio. Do you guys remember Morbius? Right? Terrible movie, did terrible at the box office. The internet seized on it as like a joke to be like, oh, bring back Morbius. We were like, oh, like, we love Morbius. It's Morbin time. And everybody's referencing it and everybody's talking about it. And what do? They go, we hear you. You all loved Morbius. We're re-releasing it. Guess what? Obviously, like 7 people showed up, because what happens, and this is as far as I have been told by my actual, like, in Hollywood, in the entertainment industry, in the animation industry, like in the comic book industry, all the friends and contacts I know, they've all informed me that the way production decisions are made largely is via algorithm, right? So when you, and that's what you can see that in the Morbius case, where what happened was Sony and yeah, I guess I'll just put it on Sony, probably Disney too, but they saw that all of a sudden there were a bunch of upticks in mentions of Morpheus on social media, and they all see the AI or the analytical tool presented it as like, oh, these are all positive, right? Because when you just look at the words, you go, we love Morbius, bring it back. If you're just looking at the words, you would go, that sounds like a fan. Like, that sounds like somebody who actually wants it back. But if you understood like comic book culture or movie culture, you would know, like, oh yeah, this is bad. Like, they're clowning on them. This isn't great. But because Disney doesn't do that, Sony doesn't do that, all these guys don't do that, they just go, oh, Morbius has a lot of hits. Do it. Everything. So like, that's what's going to happen going forward. We will make a joke. It's happened before. We'll start joking about something, guys, right? Like, haha, wouldn't it be funny if Red Hood was actually like Purple Hood? And then somebody makes like a shit post that's like, aha, Batman, I'm the Purple Hood. I shoot myself to stop you. And, you know, everybody runs with it for like a week, and we make a bunch of fan art, and there's a bunch of jokes about, you know, hurt myself to hurt you, Batman villain, or whatever, or Red Hood. Warner, now Netflix, will pick up on that. Their things will go ding, 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 ding. We're getting a bunch of hits for Red Hood, right? And a purple, like a different colored Red Hood. This is apparently something everybody's on. They'll just go, okay, highlight the Red Hood core, right? Red Hood Inc. or Hood Inc. or make Jason go on a special mission, and now he's the Purple Hood. Like, they'll do that, and then we'll all go, we were joking about that like 3 months ago. That's lame. Like, what are you doing here? And it's just, we are ruled, especially in America here, in entertainment, in politics, in sports, in everything, by like just the actual dumbest people, right? The people in charge of these studios, in charge of our government, they're the people who fall for like MLMs. They will sell you Nutrilife. They will sell you a fucking knife set. And they will actually think that that is their ticket to success. And unfortunately, like, as nature would normally have it, those idiots would lose all their money, and they would, you know, have their ideas ostracized, and we go, yeah, you're dumb, try again. But because the world is stupid, they just get promotions and they get put in charge of everything. And now we have to watch as like the few small bright spots get threatened at this point, right? Like, I liked Peacemaker season 1. I was okay on season 2. I was mostly just like, I like that he used Earth X and Sanctuary. Like, these are some pretty big deep cuts, and Sacha Bordeaux, even though the writing, it's like the season stuff was kind of I just rewatched it with my parents. My opinion still holds. Superman was good, but I'm like, okay, James, like, I'm liking this. Andrew and I say all the time, like, DC Comics is getting better. I don't know how we get out of this without just like everything being drenched in like corporate cynicism. You know what I mean? Timon says, we used to care about theaters, but increased prices and diminished quality made us don't care. Well, that problem, it's sort of like an Ouroboros problem, right? Like, we did used to care about theaters, and then yes, there was an increase in prices and diminished quality, but that wasn't necessarily like theaters as a collective going, we're riding high. They'll watch whatever, you know, let them watch Shrek, if you will, right? Like, they'll sit in anything. We don't give a shit. It was more like, okay, costs of living are going up, as they have for years, with our government completely. And I'm like, this is going to turn a little political because it has to, but, you know, wages for individuals, there is no upward mobility anymore. Over the last like 3 decades, like, probably longer than that. I can only speak the last 3 because I remember the effects of them from being there. But like, everything we have done at our government levels, at our federal level, has been to hand over power and decision making and everything to corporations because we have become fucking whores for the dollar. And so right now, like, it is the worst. Like, fuck whatever the talking heads say. We are all in economic danger right now. Americans to Europeans to Brazilians to Japanese, like, it's fucked right now. And a lot of that is because we've just been shoving and fluffing their dicks for the last however long. As a result, we have less money to, like, our wages stay approximately the same, whereas everything else is still increasing in price. But nobody is giving us the proper cost of living adjustments. Nobody is fairly going, let's fight inflation by taking a little hit to our profits and lowering our costs. None of that is happening. The corporations just go, we need to cover our costs, so pay us more. And then we go, well, I don't have that much anymore to pay you, so we can't go to the movies. And then the movie theaters go, well, now we can't do anything. Like movie theaters in this are, yes, they're not completely blameless. Specific theaters were shitty, don't get me wrong. But as an industry as a whole, they're kind of just like caught in the middle. And I feel actually bad for them because there is nothing they can do specifically to get out of this hole. They can't tell Hollywood to chill the fuck out on trying to nickel and dime everybody. They also can't go over to, the government and say, hey, forcefully knock down inflation, like help us out here. All they can do is ride the waves as they come. So that's why you've seen them experiment so much over the years with, you can rent out the theaters now for a birthday thing, or you can get alcohol there now, or yada, 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 right? Like, or remember when they used to do like free movie for subscribers every Wednesday or something? They're just trying to stay afloat. But yeah, it really is. It comes down to that corporate greed bullshit, right? Like, it's a thing I always will scream against every day. Hibiki says, I've heard that Scarlet is going to play Poison Ivy in Batman 2. That's a rumor right now, just because Scarlett Johansson has been, like, she is in talks to join the cast of Batman 2. Nobody knows what she's going to be. Obviously, attractive white lady with reddish hair. Poison Ivy is the easy fit. But I'm actually going to go out on a limb here, and I'm pretty sure our boy JB Augustine, our DC Comics guy, DC Movies guy over at Bounding Into Comics, is on my same page. I think Matt Reeves is going to go Mask of the Phantasm. I think Scarlett, if she joins, is going to play what's her name, like Andrea. I really think, because that's the sort of, Matt Reeves's Batman is still too grounded at current to go from massive crime story to supernatural, like, forests, right? Like, it can happen, it can be done, but it's also slightly more jarring than like easing people in to what Batman can do. So I see a masked killer who has a costume but is still just like a human killer, serial killer. That seems like the natural evolution there. But of course, we'll find out. We have absolutely no idea what's going on with that movie. It was supposed to come out like 400 years ago, right? Susanu says, this does have me wondering how this impacts toys, theme parks, and things along those lines. So, in a general term, all this means is that the signee on all of these licensing deals and stuff now isn't Warner Brothers, it's Netflix, right? So all of those contracts, barring any specific, and I'm sure they've got like thousands of contracts with everybody from like food distributors to like cruise ship, like maintenance teams, right? So I'm sure there's some clause in some contract out there, probably a couple of them, that says like, either this is null and void, or this enters renegotiation, or it triggers an additional payment if ownership changes. I'm sure there's something like that. I don't foresee any major, like, I don't see any licenses being pulled or any like Hasbro Power Rangers going on where everything gets like thrown up and mixed up. I don't see any of that. I think that's going to be like just a a keep on keeping on type of thing. Because I feel like when the Netflix executives are going to go in, they're going to look at the profits and they're going to go, what is this, toys? They're not going to know if that, like, it's actually hyper profitable or it's not, because they don't know this industry. So I bet dollars to donuts, they're going to be like, Warner, you guys have guys that are doing, you take care of that for now. I have no idea what's going on there. I do know, or I have heard tell from like offhand comments from or Netflix execs that like they are maybe looking to license more things to Universal theme parks, right? So that things like the Riddler coaster, the Batman coaster, admittedly, those are really fucking good coasters, right? So this could open up more of that arena, but here's the thing. I just want to make, like, I want to make this clear for all of us and for myself as well, is like, remember guys, we can give credit where credit is due and be like, oh man, DC coming back to theme parks, that would be cool. But also know that like this overall deal of Netflix buying Warner Brothers is bad, right? Like multiple things can be true at once. Not everything has to be on the same exact logic line, right? So that's all we know right now. I'm kind of a little more interested in what exactly the music group is going to do. Let me double. Okay, is Warner Music still part of them? Formerly owned by Time Warner. Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, yeah, Warner Music Group is on its own. So never mind. What I was going to say is like, I just wonder how the music thing is going to go for Netflix, but they don't own any of that shit. So moving on. And that's, well, see, and then Susani brings this up. Superman movie is supposed to be the new DCU, and it doesn't have the metrics to justify its existence. But see, that's the problem, is they artificially fucked over its metrics. It only had like 3 weeks to a month in theaters, and they immediately ripped it out, didn't even let it go to like dollar theaters, and said, it's on streaming now, come watch it here. You are inherently going to make less money on a streaming only release by sheer fact, guys. Like, even if every single person, you know, I'll play devil's advocate, if every single person who would have seen that movie in person and bought a ticket watches that film, not pirated, but like on your streaming service, I fucking guarantee you guys, no, not every single, like, I have 4 people living in this household, right? Like my parents, my sister, and me. If we want to watch something, we're not going to go log into your account, log into your account, log into your account, log into your account. Okay, let's get on Discord and hang out. We're going to go, hey, mom, dad, I logged into my, Hulu. Let's watch this. There's only one watch metric from that, right? It only registers this person watched this, and it's not even a complete watch. It just goes, this person watched X amount of minutes of Superman. Because, like, to me, I actually personally think that, like, that Superman movie is peak. Like, it did everything it needed to do in terms of, like, respecting his comic book fans and his comic book history, while also recontextualizing him against our current era of, like, assholery and 12-year-old, ew, it's fun to own the libs, own the cons, baby, right? Like, I think all of that worked. And I think, like, it was picking up so much massive word of mouth, because you're not wrong. Or let me rephrase that. To your point, Superman's reputation has been in the toilet for a long time. A lot of us, how long have we all known, like, oh, Superman's boring. The only way to make him cool was make an evil Superman, right? Like, so it had to battle against that. So at launch, I can totally understand, and coupled with, superhero fatigue and just, the finances we were all talking about, yada, yada, yada. I can see that, the early box office wasn't hot, and it was fine, but it was picking up steam off of word of mouth, because people were going, holy shit, this movie's actually good, right? Like, I know this is only anecdotal, but I watched the movie, and then, the weekend after I did, I was hanging out with 2 of my sisters, their husbands, and their kids, right? Like, we went to the zoo, And my brother-in-law, one of my brothers-in-law, is like, he starts asking me, he's like, "You watch Superman?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I did." And he's like, "How'd you like? What's your word on it? I'm here for your take." And I gush. I go, "Guys, like, it's so good. Go watch it." All four of them went and watched it off of that. They wouldn't have done it either. Like, either if I hadn't said anything, they would have waited for streaming. But then it got 4 ticket sales. So this is what I fear with this new deal, is that Netflix is going to try their bullshit with cutting windows, cutting budgets, and then when everything fails, as it will, as it obviously plays out on paper, they'll go, doesn't have the metrics for it. Essentially, they're going to set everything up to fail. And that's what I'm like hyper worried about. Yeah, basically the Eric Andre killing Hannibal meme and everything wrong with hitting a target when you make it beyond unreasonable. Exactly. Hibiki, what's going on, dude? Hibiki says there's probably a comic of Chinese Justice League. I think another one of you guys said something about that. Oh no, it was Hibiki again. I can weigh in on this actually and say they did make a Justice League of China series, and I actually am a big fan of it, because the entire concept is basically China goes, why don't we have our own Justice League? And they basically like copyright infringe on our heroes, right? So like Kenan Kong, Superman, they give him Superman powers, they give him the logo and everything, but like he's not Kryptonian and he's not related to them. Their Batman has the symbols and the branding and a Robin and everything, but he's just like a fat Chinese tech genius, right? It's actually a lot of fun. I know Andrew isn't as hot on it. Well, he hasn't read it, but I know, yeah, just take my word for it. I like it. Okay. I'm going to jump a little bit because I am completely falling behind here, but let's get into RJ says, I think that Supergirl was leaving crypto in her 2009 Sentra and went drinking. I don't know if you guys have seen the so there's apparently like Brazil has like CCXP happening right now, like their big movie expo, and I guess there's a trailer for Supergirl that's being played there. I don't know if that's true. I've only seen alleged like recaps of it, but it opens with like on crypto. The trailer at least like opens on crypto, like kind of like taking himself for a walk, going pee, and then it like pans over to find Kara like hungover, and I'm like, I don't know how to feel about it, honestly, because on one hand, that's not like, none of this is Kara. Like, I fucking hate Woman of Tomorrow for what they did to Kara and that like personality change, right? On the other, I'm not completely against like this version of characterization for Kara, right? So long as she eventually, gets to a point where she's a little more adult and, not like going out blackout drunk every night, but like you're 20, 21, you're going out and party. It's what people do. It's what guys have done. It's what girls have done. I don't give a shit about that, right? Like, so I don't know how to feel about that at all, especially because it's like, it's Tom King, but I trust James Gunn. So who freaking knows? Punk says, I really want to see that Batgirl movie released to DVD. It's not going to happen. Like, I'm the only hope we have right now of ever seeing that movie is that some intern or some director or some production crew member saved a random copy of the final proof onto a random thumb drive or external drive, and they feel like they do everything they can to scrub all of the metadata and leak it out there, right? Because this isn't just a movie that was canceled. This is a movie that was completed and then specifically shelved for the tax write-off. So if what that basically means is that Warner went, we will completely, like, this movie will never move if you give us, like, in exchange for the tax credits that come from its production, right? As such, they legally cannot ever release that movie without paying major restitution to the United States government. And as we're going over right now, right? Like, Netflix doesn't want to spend money on shit. They're not going to spend like a couple dozen, 100 million to fight whatever lawsuit comes from the U.S. government on that, for sure. Oh yeah, Hibiki, that like we were saying, everything's about to get bad from both of them, right? Like Stranger Things DC coming soon. Caleb, I'll get to your questions in a little bit, just as soon as we get through this part of the conversation. Yep, RJ remembered. Yeah, it's Morbin time. That exactly was what it was. Christopher Sullivan over on Facebook. Look at that. We're getting Facebook love this week. I love it. Chris says, movies and television began turning into shit since the 90s. The reason why is because of nepotism and favoritism. The interesting, talented people have been pushed out. Absolute. No, you're 100% correct, right? Because we used to get lots of different shows, different sitcoms, different varieties, whatever. But then as the businesses, started rolling in, as we started corporatizing all of this, we started going into that realm of, we need to save all of our, we need to be smart about our money. And you know what? One of the first rubrics or standards that comes from that is we need to be more, conservative about who we are, what we're greenlighting and which directors or whatever we're taking a bet on. What does that normally entail, guys? That leads to, well, Dick Wolf has 7 successful series. Let's give him another one. Oh, Christopher Sullivan has a new one. I've never heard of this guy. No thanks. And then what happens is that Chris is going to go, well, I still want to make this made. And he'll enter into a partnership with kind of anybody who will. He gets a deal with Quibi. I don't even think they're still around. Or Tubi. I love Tubi, but they don't have the money necessarily. And so he still gets to make his thing. But now it's so bad that his vision wasn't realized. There's no chance of somebody going oh, I see what you were doing there. Do you want to pick this up elsewhere? He gets a complete rotten deal. But the guy who made 7 fluke shows or whatever, yay, you get everything. And then don't even get me started on I guess it's technically nepotism, but the whole celebrity slash athlete to television game host, sports center presenter, it kind of rubs me the wrong way, because it's especially nowadays, I'm seeing ESPN a lot introduce new shows that are basically just a carbon copy of a YouTube show from a guy, but it's got fucking NBA legend or NFL court, and I'm I hate you. I genuinely hate you for doing this. Ouroboros, a la Richard. Oh my goodness. Susunu, you haven't heard of that. I'm assuming that's Susunu just from another account. Otherwise, that's going to be the craziest username lineup of all time. But if you're not familiar with it, an Ouroboros is basically, I'm sure we've all seen the imagery, but it's that snake that eats itself, right? So the entire thing is basically the snake keeps eating at its tail, it will end up eating itself. And that's self-cannibalization. It's basically kind of what Chris was saying, the nepotism and everything. Once you start making everything so insular and you only start listening to your own feedback loops, that's where things are gonna go really, really bad. Yeah. There you go, RJ. Yeah, exactly. Kane becomes the pink hood, right? And then Damian Wayne is the blue hood. God, even right now, I feel it like the retching rising in my stomach. Oh yeah, for sure, Timon. I don't blame theaters. I blame the studios taking a larger cut of the first month box office while making shit content. Yeah, exactly. I didn't think you were blaming them. I was just also sort of giving that an overview, is that I get that feeling too, where I've been to some really shitty theaters, but then I've also been to ones where I'm I don't want to see you go. That reminds me of, so I used to live in San Diego up until the pandemic hit and lost my job, house, all that stuff, right? But when I was living in San Diego, there used to be right across the bridge, there was a very small, literal, old school, neighborhood where it's got 7 business buildings maybe that are at most 2 stories, just a 2-story thing. And it's got no chains or anything. It's got neighborhood shops. It was a cute little quaint place, right? But right there across the, we walk a little bridge over the freeway to the neighborhood, and they had a theater that would regularly play like old movies, right? Like your Aliens, your like Ghost in the Shell, things like that. And they would do it every week, every Friday and Saturday and Sunday. There were selections of movies and then like a rotating one. And it was cheap. I'm sure that like the place was not technically like a business. I'm sure like somebody inherited it or owned it for forever, and now they're just like, whatever, I'm just going to use it because it's mine and I love movies. When Disney bought Fox and when Disney bought Fox, part of that purchase, Disney put a new clause in all of their like contracts that was like, you have to pay us now like the actual full licensing fee for X movie or Y movie if you want to show it at your theater, no matter the size. So now the guy's going, well, I was just playing, 35 millimeter rips or like reels that I had acquired or Blu-rays that I had. I can't afford, $30,000 in licensing for a 2-night showing. And so he stopped. And like he pivoted and he does like way more experimental and like artsy and anime stuff now. But it's still like for a significant time, we all were like, we don't know what's going to happen to that theater. Like, what the fuck? And I remember being super mad because one of the things that like I lived with a girlfriend at the time, and one of the things we used to do is like walk over and be like, oh, there's a movie. Do you want to watch it? Okay. And like just pop in, but couldn't do that anymore. I mean, yeah, charging $50 for popcorn is a bit much, but again, it's not them going, we want to charge you $50. It's them going, we are losing profit because studios are cutting us out of the release windows. And then, as you were pointing out, like the cost of living has gone up while real wages haven't. So they still have to pay for this shit, right? They still have to pay for the upkeep for their employees, for the rental on the building. So that's where the broken piece is, right? Everything keeps getting more expensive. That means they have to keep charging more at base, but there's not more money being given to spend. So now everybody has to go, holy shit, how do we make up for this? And like, that's why I'm super supportive of, there are obviously like the super fancy theaters we can go to where like with the recliner chairs and the food service and like the bar. Sure, like those are great. But I'm really a big fan of just like regular movie theaters now having like a bar in the lobby, like a cocktail bar, or like it's a standard bar, like 3 taps or whatever, liquor behind you, because margins on liquor dudes and dudettes is fucking crazy. That like, for example, you can buy a $20 bottle of vodka. We can even be fucking nice, right? $2 a shot. We've made that thing back without even tapping like the neck of a vodka bottle, right? You know what I mean? So it's, again, all of this is rooted back in like that corporate greed. If they just said anything about like, okay, we'll pay you a little more. Okay, we won't be as so profit chasing. Any little thing there would ease so much off of our backs. It would bring that popcorn down almost immediately to maybe still a high like 20 or 30, but way better than 50. But they won't. They won't. Theaters also didn't need to charge different prices for the set. What the fuck? I've never heard of this. Is that a Brazil? I've never been to a theater in America, the Philippines, or England, or Mexico that has ever charged me extra for the center seat. That's fucking unless it's, well, no, because I was gonna say like unless it's one of those like fancy seats, but if that was in that theater, it would be all of them. Like nobody does the baseball stadium like lazy boy fan of the game where it's like the 2 recliners in the outfield, right? Like that doesn't happen. So that's very, very odd. JRP Fanatic says Batman 2, the main villain is probably going to be Hush. That's the other like big rumor or not rumor, but like speculation I've been seeing. JRPG Fanatic, which by the way, Chrono love. Always love seeing my boy Chrono, especially that classic Toriyama art version of him. But that, see, like, I can also believe Hush, because that is kind of what I was saying, right? Like, it's still super comic book, or like, it's still comic book villainy, but it's not superpowers or aliens or ghosts, or like, it's still in the realm of believability, if you will, right? Like, more than probably any superhero movie, the Batman is one of those ones that's like, you could more easily imagine that actually happening outside, right? Even with the big, flooding of the tunnels and stuff. We've seen big terrorist attacks like that before. You can see that happening. Whereas even in something like The Dark Knight, right? Where you're like, this is super grounded. This is super realistic. Batman is still like, he's driving the tumbler over cops and nobody says anything. He still has like NSA level surveillance. And nope, he's such a good person. He's never tempted to use it ever again after that. Right? Like, that's a little fantastical. So like, Reeves grounds it a little bit, which is why I can see Hush, but I can also see now, and I'm glad you actually like reminded me of the Hush speculation, because I can see the same sort of description of Hush being applied to Phantasm, to Andrea, right? Like, old relationship of Bruce's. Hush is his friend, Andrea's a lover. They come back into his life. People start dying around him. It starts like specifically targeting Bruce, like himself. And then you realize like, oh, it's been a long boiling revenge plan. And I could see maybe it's like the speculation was only super vague and people went, oh, that has to be Hush, without thinking about Andrea, because like, who thinks about that movie aside from like me and JB every week? Nobody does. And then, pardon me. Or like, maybe they were like, oh yeah, let's do Hush. And they started like that. And they went, you know what? That's too predictable. What can we do? And they switched it up. But either way, I think you're onto something. I think it's going to be something in the veins of that. Hibiki says, I've heard the actor who played Kingpin from Daredevil Born Again that he wants to play Swamp Thing in DC. Dude, I would, I'm kind of with you, Susan. Like, I loved Swamp Thing as a kid. I still really love him now. That movie is horrible, but it's still also like cheesy, like nostalgia fun, where you're like, man, I remember you. You get him, champ. The Swamp Thing show, in case, I know almost nobody saw it because it was exclusive to the DC Infinite app. And then it got like, I think, one airing on the CW, and then it got shunted off onto HBO Max. But the Arrowverse Swamp Thing show is super good. Like, if you like Swamp Thing, you're going to be like, damn, that was a good adaptation. You will be mad when you get to the end and it's like, oh, we're done here. Wah, wah, wah. You do realize the Superman movies framed me as a mind-controlled monkey? No, it didn't, Susanu, because I'm not one of those people. There's a very clear difference between, I don't like something, I'm going to criticize it, and I'm going to explain why I have criticism, and going on the internet every day and going, you're gay, you're woke, oh, this is fucking stupid, oh, Disney did it again, right? I'm not that person. So I didn't feel a slight. I hate those people, right? The Nerdrotics of the world, the Mark Kearns, the what's his name? Endymions. No, I'm not that person. And that is who James Gunn was taking shots at. If those people feel bad and go, wow, why are you insulting me? Maybe you got to reflect on why you feel that's specifically about you, right? Like, I don't feel those attacks because I hold myself to higher standards than just shitting on people for no reason. But see, that's why I liked Superman. I liked the fact that it was comic booky, that it was very Silver Age. It embraced it instead of being ashamed of it. And that's the truth about superhero. It's the truth about anything, guys. I know Hollywood executives love to go, oh, this might be too weird or wonky or out there for normal audiences. Normal audiences, as long as you treat them with like a base level respect and explain what's happening. Guys, like, Star Wars was a phenomenon. Star Trek is a phenomenon. Marvel comics, DC comics are a phenomenon. Dune, like, people get into this shit all the time. Fantastic stuff is not hard for the human mind to understand, right? Like I've never, so like when James Gunn is like, yeah, we're gonna do the super, like we're giving them the trunks. Good, because that's, yes, like we don't need to temper that just because somebody out there might go like, I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, this is in reference to what I was saying about the shows earlier. Yeah, ESPN is copying YouTube. I wish I had the specific tweet. What the? Let me see if I can find it really quick. Or ESPN copy show. Where is it? Is it here? No, it doesn't look like I can find it. Damn it. Oh, wait. Yeah, damn, I can't find it. But either way, it was literally like the same name. Because like it was like a generic name show, like the Ball No, like the Ball Show or something, right? And they just like copied that and put the names of the celebrity hosts on it. And I'm just like, are you serious? Are you kidding me? Are you serious? Punk says, I'd like to see Berserker as an animated series or movie. I think it's getting a movie, right? Well, it's live action, but I think it's getting a movie. I mean, you don't get a celebrity likeness as the like main thing for your comic without somehow hoping he's going to play them in live action. You know what I mean? Jumping ahead a little bit because I'm so bad at keeping up, but let's see. I like what Hibiki's doing. He's going through like different like country Justice Leagues, like Ukrainian Justice League, Dutch Justice League, Polish Justice League. That hits on something I really love, which is like, that's why I love multiverses, is just seeing like the different possibilities, like the different what ifs, if you will. So like when we had Red Sun, that was interesting to see like a Soviet communist Superman, because he'd never be that. Or when Overman got reintroduced in Final Crisis by Grant Morrison, it was cool. Yeah, they're bad people, they're Nazis, but seeing the like German Nazi Justice League, like it's cool. It's just there for the grace of, good writing. Go we. Wow, really? They do the different pricing at some theaters here. That's Susanu saying that. Wow, I genuinely have never seen that, unless it was for like a comfier seat, like a more cushioned seat. I always bottle of water. I always bring a bottle of water and 2 packs of Lance crackers in the theater. I mean, I bring in whatever I kind of want, right? Like, I know it sucks, but like to our point, I can't afford to buy like in good conscience a bag of Sour Patch Kids for $9 when it's like half air. When I can go to my Winco right here, go to the bulk candy section, load it up, and get like 2 pounds, no air, for like $4. You know what I mean? Like it's so hard to. So like I get it. I am not telling you guys right now that it's on us to fight Netflix and Warner Brothers and Hollywood and deal with that by going and supporting our local theaters. No. This is not our fight. That it's unfair to put that on our shoulders. No. I would never. This is on those assholes. Like the Hollywood, not the theaters, not us. It sucks that we can't help them, sure. But what the fuck? Like, what are we supposed to do? I can't afford $50 popcorn every week, right? Like and that's if I'm pushing myself to go see a movie. Because I think it was Susan who said it a little earlier, and I passed over it, but or not passed over it, but like it got past me. Damn, what the fuck did Susan say that I wanted to like hit on? Oh, that's right. Susan, I think it was him. He asked or he didn't ask, he made this comment where he was like, though, to be honest, now that I think about it, like I haven't been to the theater a lot. Like I kind of just stopped going. I don't know why. And like, I just wanted, like, you hit that. I think that happened to like me too, right? Like I'm not necessarily anti-movie, and there has been things that I've wanted to see over the like recent years. I just haven't felt like a very strong motivation to go to the theater. I think like last year or this year, 2025, I saw maybe 3 movies in theaters, right? I saw the Hatsune Miku Colorful Stage movie earlier this year. I saw that movie Friendship with Tim Robbins and Paul Rudd, and I saw Superman. Like, and so like if there's something like I'm like I really gotta go, like I'll do it, but I also couldn't tell you like what changed in me or my life or anything that kind of left behind movie theaters. I don't know, because it's like I still have friends, I still have money, I still have interests, I still have it conveniently here. I don't know. That's something very interesting to interrogate. Definitely want to interrogate that. Let's see. Hell yeah, dude. Like that's the thing. Is like I am so of the mentality, like I think I've given this to you guys before, right? Like fat person at the gym. If somebody is trying and maybe they're not like landing on something, right away, whether that's being a critic or being a reporter or a content creator or, losing weight at the gym, as long as they like that person is still earnestly trying, they're still sticking to their gym schedule. Like, sure, they're not losing 500 pounds immediately, but they're trying. I'll give you a bunch of leeway. However, those names I listed include, and a bunch of others, they're not trying. They are part of the problem of keeping you guys angry. They want you guys to be angry so that you stay on their channel. And you don't go engage with anything else. Don't watch these movies. Don't watch their games. They're bad. Watch me, because I know what's right. And what do? They just keep shit talking. They don't know what they're talking about. They just react to things. Like, I'm sure we all saw it earlier this year. The Smash JT Colin Moriarty like debate. I was watching that the entire time, like Adam Sandler from Uncut Gems, just going like, holy shit, I'm gonna come. Because it's like, finally, Colin, even though he's got his own issues, somebody finally like called out the nonsense, right? I get that you guys are probably fans of video games. Be fans of video games. Don't be weird rage baiters. Let's see. Oh yeah, I mean, me, Susanu. I am not the kind of person who's just randomly going to start attacking people or just go like, I don't like you. I'm always going to be able to articulate and have a reason. I'm a very easygoing, I'm a very affable guy. I'm a wild and crazy guy, right? Yeah. In that term, like Chris Gore, he's fine to me. Like, here's the thing with Chris Gore. He has like, he was on like Tech and G4. Like, he has an established, he knows what he's doing. And like, yes, sometimes he gets a little, like he goes a little loose in like leaning into like, that's woke and like not giving actual criticism. But that's like every so often, right? And I can be like, okay, like sometimes I colloquially don't say everything that I should say or intent, like, right? Like if I'm just talking to friends. So yeah, Chris, so at worst, Chris has made me go like eye roll, right? Like for example, he's doing the Star Trek, like funeral for Star Trek tomorrow, I think. He had done a funeral for Star Wars years ago, I think like right after the Rise of Skywalker. And it was a giant, like, live stream, and everybody came and had fun. And it was cool. Like I didn't really hang out, but it was really cool. And now he's doing one tomorrow for Star Trek, but it's like, A, you already did this. B, who even cares about like, what's the last Star Trek thing to even come out? I don't know. It's weird, right? So that to me is just like okay, we got the joke. But I don't hate him. I actually I welcome him. If you want to come hang out, Chris, always the StreamYard door is open. Martin Ford would be, really cool for Swamp Thing. Man, I want them to do another Swamp Thing movie, but I want them to do it right. You know what I mean? Oh, there we go. Susanu says, however, that the variable pricing model was ended in 2023. They're not doing that here anymore. Okay, so it's done, was part of something AMC was doing. Okay, that makes sense. But that also explains why, like, I haven't seen anything like that, because that was like it's been 2 years since that happened, and I can't remember what I did yesterday. You know what I mean? Okay, that I now see what you guys are talking about. It is still completely stupid, and I'm glad they gave it up. but I see what you guys are saying now. Okay. Hibiki says, I had a movie theater in Virginia. They shut down years ago. Now it's a jump park. That seems to be the fate, right, Hibiki? It's like, if your store shuts down now and you had a significant space, so if you're like a Joann Fabrics or okay, this is going to date me, but like a Circuit City or a movie theater, you're going to become a jump park. But I also, I don't have that much familiarity with that business line. I don't clock them enough when I go out in public. I don't know if those are actually profitable. I don't know if they actually last. You know what I mean? Like, I'd be interested. Maybe it's something like you make those parks with the idea that they're almost like pop up, where you're like, okay, we're going to be here for 6 months. I know that, and then it's over. I don't know. And I'm not entirely ready to dedicate my weekend to researching jump park law. But I will invite any jump park law notes that anybody might have. Susanu with 333 in super chats. Buddy, first of all, thank you for the super chat. As always, any support you guys give us, whether it's super chats or even just watching the video, liking the video, looking at our tweet, even just staring at it, not even interacting with it, like that, getting one view on our tweets is like, it means all the world to us. So thank you, Susanu. And Susanu says, do you have a schedule up for these streams? Oh shit, I was about to be like, yes, we do, but I just realized, so we did have one up for the last 2 weeks, ever since we made the announcement about 2 weeks ago, and we switched up our streaming format. I put a pinned tweet with a trailer and our schedule on Twitter, but I unpinned it a while ago to pin other things, so that's completely gone. I do have a schedule. I think I need to go put that up on the Bounding website. I will share the tweet here, and I'll bring it up just to give everybody a reminder, because I can find this pretty easily. Where is, I just go to the Bounding Accounts media tab. Come on, internet. Why are you yelling at me? Perfect. All right, I'll bring this over here. I think it popped up on the stream. Yes. All right. So as you can see, we have a whole new streaming setup that we are doing at Bounding into Comics. Just in case you guys didn't know, Cider and Nerdigans and I, and Josh and a couple of our other staff members, we were getting ready for 2026, and somebody, was like, hey, what do we think about streaming? Do we want to improve our streaming, switch it up at all? So we all sat down, we all sort of strategized, and we have our new streaming schedule, because previously, as some of you might know, we only did the 0-1 stream on Mondays, which was fun. Still loved hanging out with all of you. But we've been doing that show, or a variant, or a variation of it, for the last almost a decade, at least since I joined the site in 2018 as a beat reporter. We were still doing just a Monday night stream. So we thought, we're going to break it up, switch things up, especially, not only for us, but for you guys, because why not entertain you throughout the week instead of just one day? So as you can see, we have something to offer almost every day. Mondays at 3:30 p.m., we are replacing 0-1. That's the time slot it normally was in. It is now weekly Weeb News. It's still hosted by Nerdigans and Cider. However, it is more anime centric. It is run by Nerdigans now. She's in charge. She runs you through the week in anime news, drama, and just cool things that happen in the series and the shows and the manga. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 11 a.m. Pacific time. Just come hang out here on the Bounding into Comics channel with me, where I play video games. Nothing, no specific purpose like we have with the rest of these shows. It's just, hey, come hang out on your lunch break, shake off some of the, negative crap from at least the morning, and play a game, come watch a game that maybe you're interested in playing or whatnot, right? And at least you're getting that information from somebody who knows what he's talking about when it comes to video games, history, culture, all that stuff. And then Saturdays, as you know, because you're right here, Good Nav Ugly. It's pretty simple switch around. I will reshare this. I will post this up somewhere. I should probably post this on the YouTube channel as well. Thank you for the reminder, Susanu. Thank you for the super chat. But yeah, this is it. You can come hang out with me or Nerdigans or Cider whenever you want. And then, of course, Cider has free reign, and, you know, like, I've encouraged him, and he just does. He'll pop up. Like, he'll just go live whenever. Just subscribe to Bounding Into Comics. You'll see when he's up. Timon says, the last movie I saw was John Wick 4. That was like 2 years ago right now, right? Yeah, see? It's been a while. And even like last year, I can't think of... I saw Mario last year. I think that's about it. Oh, dude. Hollywood, Los Angeles is dying. As somebody who lived there, like, and lived... I didn't just live in LA. I lived literally a block over from the Sony Pictures lot. Like the actual filming giant, like, citywide thing of Sony. Like, it was crazy. But again, what you're seeing is the same corporate consolidation that I was talking about earlier. It's just in a different arena. LA theoretically should be thriving and vibrant and, you know, have a lot of independent businesses and startups and entrepreneurs, even not just in tech, but in, you know, retail or in cooking or things like that. Instead, kind of like you said earlier, favoritism, nepotism, money has kind of consolidated everything into, like, the beach. Oh my god, Venice, like Venice Beach, and not even like on the beach. That's still like kind of rough and tumble, but then all the nice houses, super gentrified, super expensive. And yeah, it's just the same thing you see every time when prices go up and nobody wants to, you know, help, is that all the people who live there get shoved out. And so everything else becomes worse, except for like these 5 stores that everybody wants to shop at. Yeah, Punk, look, Ballerina and F1 were the only movies he went to see in the theater. That's what I mean. It's like, I think even aside from the obvious factors of like the pandemic, pricing, and then the fact that, like I was saying earlier, all of us kind of know nowadays, or at least expect, or we all know that today, like nowadays, there's a more than good chance that whatever movie we might be interested in seeing in a theater is going to come out, you know, on streaming in a week. Those 3 factors aside, though, I still feel like something has shifted. And because like, this is still a shockingly low amount of movies for everybody, right? Like 2, 1. I saw the most, but I'm like, I work in media, right? Like I'm a media reporter, and I only saw 4. So, or no, I only saw 3, which is like, that's kind of crazy. So I don't have an answer for it, but I'm like, Punk, like, I'm curious. Like, I got to think on this. I'm very curious as to what we're going down. No way. Oh shit. Stream was down. Now it's back. Oh my god. I had no idea, guys. I got no indications over here. It looked clear the entire time, but I'm glad we're back. Yeah. Timon says, I used to have to pick which movie to watch each month. My allowance was good for only 1 trip to the movies. Yeah. I didn't do movies. My allowance went towards like video game rental, right? Pretty much the same price, like $5, $10. But yeah, you had to be super limited back then. I remember that. Yeah. Mostly watching Korean movies lately. Dude, Korean movies are fantastic. Like, you can pretty much just like go on any streaming service, and if they have a Korean movie, go to like the top rated one. It's going to be good. Like, I've been really open to Korean media in the last year, because last year when I went home to the islands with my family, my mom got really into a K-drama on Netflix. Like, she started it on the first, like, we landed, went to our the house we have there, and like as soon as we settled, she's like, oh, a new show, I'm gonna watch it. And so like I watched that entire thing with her for like through our trip. But off of that, like, yeah, I know that like there are crazy good movies. Like, oh, what is it, like Ghost or Witch or something? Like there's a duology that's really good. Yeah, definitely check out Korean media if you guys haven't yet. And also Japanese media, obviously, not just like anime and stuff, but they have good like dramas coming out are really good there. surprisingly, well, or maybe not surprisingly, China is making some good stuff. Of course, that comes with the air of like, wow, I'm watching this and I know it's just completely like government backed, like this is a government thing. But if you can like get over that, I can sometimes, sometimes I can't. That's just on me. But if you can, definitely check out what they've got going on. I'm trying to think of any other like specific market. No, I think those are like the main Hollywood, like blockbustery ones. As always, like every continent, every country, every place has like good indie films and documentaries and stuff coming out. But yeah, definitely that's kind of how we should be doing things, right? It's like, okay, I'm not getting what I want from American media. Time to go elsewhere. And guys, it works, right? Like, let's be exceptionally clear. And I'm going to get rid of the schedule because I feel weird, like not addressing you guys directly. But look at anime, right? Anime was niche for a long time. And then it blew the fuck up over the last like 10 years. And now every studio wants to get in on the anime trend. They want to start copying what they do. It's because they saw, oh shit, we're losing. Like Japan's doing this now. Right? So keep the heat on. Keep the heat on. Yeah, okay, cool. That's what I thought, Susanu. The website would be better. I'll put a post up there, definitely. I'll hit it everywhere. That's what I'll do. Did get HBO Max for $2 a month for a year on Black Friday. Don't know if they're still offering it. So did watch a lot of Western films in the last week. In terms of streaming services, I've always held HBO Max is like the best one. It's the best bang for your buck because its library is expansive with like lots of good things to watch instead of just like Netflix crap. But they also like, they try, right? Like they try with Peacemaker or Penguin. Like, yeah, HBO does good stuff. Game of Thrones and all that. Well, obviously we all know like the first 3 seasons or whatever. But yeah, I've always been a big fan of HBO Max. That's probably going to die now. Like that's just going to go, right? Like you can't, would Netflix run 2 streaming services? I don't think so. I think it would be dumb. As much as I'm like, I don't want to get used to a new name and branding. I think in the long run, it's smarter for them to just slap them together into whatever you want. Every time I think of LA, all I can imagine is the movie Eyes Wide Shut. I mean, look, that wasn't my part of LA. I was very much on the punk music kid beach bum side, so I was in the dive bars. But I mean, come on, let's be real, guys. That like Hollywood, LA is like half of what I just said, and then maybe like 20% regular, just like suburbanite business folk, just like living life. And then the rest are just like massive, sex pest, pedophile, occultist, like completely, like, do not even get me wrong. Might have been on YouTube. Yeah, I mean, either way, I'm only seeing it from the StreamYard end, so I don't know if it went down everywhere else, if it was a StreamYard thing. Not a big deal. I'm still back. Used to watch the old movie. Do you mean, when you say the old movie, do you mean like the Alec Baldwin Shadow, like the superhero one? Because that is a good movie. I still like that. Even Disney Korea makes great film. I didn't know there was like a separate production branch, right? I figured anything that would have come out of like Disney Korea would have just been released by Disney. That's interesting. I got to look into that. Yeah, obviously they aren't handled the same way as they are here, so who knows? Have you watched, or do you have the app Viki? Because I watched Chinese, Korea, Taiwan, Japanese shows there. No, I am of how do you say this? I'm a member of the Straw Hats, if you will, right? One of my friends is Captain Jack. Yeah, I'm all for like more ease of access, and if it works for you and you like it, go all for it. Hell yeah, I'm glad that app exists and it's convenient. I just know on my end I'm going to be like, well, I don't want to watch it on an app. I'm pretentious. I'm a dickhead. Yep, as always, Bollywood has lots of great offerings to give. I mean, I'm kind of bummed because I thought Bollywood cinema would have more of an explosion after RRR, with how massively that took like America by storm. I don't know whether like we intentionally tried to block Indians out of the movie industry or just deals fell apart, but it's weird that we haven't gotten like another significant sort of like Indian like licensed production or whatever, you know what I mean? So, but still, definitely good movies. Wouldn't Romanian Justice League just be a bunch of like, that's like all vampires, right? Like that's exactly what that is. Oh, that's right. Yeah, HBO Max also has AEW pay-per-views, right? And they actually work there. Every time I've heard somebody try to watch a Netflix pay-per-view for WWE, it like never pops immediately. Like it stutters at the beginning. They have to log in, log out. Like it's really bad. So like, yeah, of all right there though, right? Like you got AEW, you've got like your Adult Swim, you've got your like movies. Like it, if I had to pick one, right? If I had to put the jersey on for one team, it's definitely going to HBO Max. I don't think HBO's contracts run up until 2029. See, and that's where like we could both like speculate and like counter speculate all day because we don't know the exacts of it. Because like, yeah, you're right. Like assuming and like just working off of Susanoo being right, or into some degree, right? The contract thing. I still wonder, because it's a full buyout and they now own that contract, does that like change things up? It's just legal weedery, right? Which really doesn't benefit us right now at all until we know what the hell they're talking about. Because we could say it'll happen like this, it'll happen like that, it'll happen like X, it'll happen like Y, and then at the end of the day, it could all play out as fucking T, right? Or why am I forgetting letters? V, B. Why am I? All right, this is a bad segment. I'm moving on. Susanoo knows about it. Yeah, his kiddo loves Vicky. Vicky is good if you want to do the localization. They'll do it. I mean, is that not the eternal curse of children, Susanoo, watching things you don't want? Like, my niece is obsessed with like she's like 2 and she watches like song videos on YouTube, right? That are like very basic, like what color is a star? What color is a star? Like just things like that. And they drive me insane. But it's not about me. We're here for her. That's what she wants to. Wow, look, all of you guys know this. Yeah, Vicky says it's on the App Store for years. Timon says I presented my mom to Vicky. She's into K-dramas now. Wow, that's crazy. I've legitimately never heard of any of this. And you guys are teaching me something now. Yeah, Hibiki, I'm glad you're still keeping on your languages. I hope to hear you like do a thing, like recite one long speech in like all 12 of the languages you're learning. That would be cool. Oh, do they now? ESPN carries the main WWE main roster now, or yeah, pay-per-views now. Okay, yeah, I don't know that much about wrestling. It's just not an area I know. I was into it in the 90s during the Attitude Era, as most kids were, but I don't know. I got nothing against it. I don't know. I got nothing against it. I'd watch it for sure, but I don't know. I got nothing against it. So I'm glad I have you guys there to keep me, to correct me, to keep me honest, and to let me know what is actually up. And then let's see. Where are we? Okay, we're at 2:45. I think we'll wrap with this just because JRP Fanatic brought it up. With us getting a new Toku universe, I hope we get a Jukyu B-Fighter reboot. I 100% agree, because in case it wasn't obvious from my writer avatar guys, or if you just like have never talked to me, I love Beatles as like an aesthetic, as a motif, and then big like B-Fighter is everything I want. It's Toku that's Beatle themed, and they're all like foil metallic colored, right? Like they're really, really cool. But before we get out of here today, I guess we'll just this is more of just like an update to keep everybody, appraised, and it's just something I like and care about, so I'm going to be talking about it. But as Fanatic brought up, let's go to the right window. Oh, no, it was there. Okay, we're all set up now. Wow, that is like blasting me red. Sorry about that, guys. But we did, as we talked about last week, Super Sentai is ending with the conclusion of Gyozuger in just a couple weeks. After that, Toei will be taking all of their like tokusatsu stuff and making sort of a MCU banner called Project R.E.D, which will have, you know, Space Sheriff Gavin, Super Sentai. No word on Kamen Rider yet. They're saying that's their main competition, which I get, but it's also like, but that's also a Toei Toku thing, and you guys hang out with Sentai all the time. So no idea how that, like, what they're doing there. But following that announcement, we are finally getting you know, our first previews, our first trailers. It's not a lot so far. As you can see, it's very much just like preview teaser graphic. But throughout this, you can see we're getting, like, especially there, right? The first entry in this Project R.E.D line, their Iron Man, if you will, is going to be Super Sheriff, Space Sheriff Gavin Infinity. And it looks like they are both bringing, like they're going to be revamping all of the Space Sheriffs. But then I'm also wondering, for my Toku watchers out there, like, this guy, like, they bear the blue and gold one, and I don't know if that's actually supposed to be what's their names, but like the blue one here specifically, does that not look like Don Momotaro from Dawn Brothers, Sentai Avataro Dawn Brothers? Like, and that makes me wonder, is this what we're doing? Is this how we're going to link it in? Like, they're going to promote him, and he's, I have no idea, but I just saw that shot. Cider shared it to me yesterday, and I was like, I recognize you. Oh yeah, definitely that too. Definitely that. I can see that. But yeah, that is what we've got for Project R.E.D so far. They're also very much reusing props, and like, okay, this sword is, I'm pretty sure, the same sword from Dawn Brothers, like his main sword. And I've seen people online going like, oh, this is lazy. Well, they don't care. Blah, blah, blah. They're reusing props. And I'm like, that is Toku. Like I appreciate it more that they're reusing props than if they went to go make something new. You know what I mean? Yeah. Thank you, Timon. Okay. I knew I had the names, but they were like flipping around in my head and I couldn't like land the right colors like on the spot. Shader is blue. Gavin is silver. Sherivan is red. That's right. No gold one. Yeah. That's what I was trying to get at. There's no gold one. So like, I don't know if that's supposed to be gold or silver, because apparently the red one here, Timon, like the main, I guess we can call it, he is Project R.E.D. There's like a standing shot of him. Oh, that's the gold one. Well, he's like there in a music video. What the hell is that shot? That's a bad, weird shot. But okay, so that right there, that red one, that's not Sherivan. That's Gavin. Like Toei came out and said, this is our Gavin. Like, this is Space Sheriff Gavin and I'm like, oh. So like, I don't know what to expect from any of these colors anymore, right? Like, I'm wondering if they'll do something where they lean into like almost Green Lantern-y, where it's like the color, like whoever gets chosen for a color embodies like a certain thing. So like red is like leadership or something, and blue is like brains or tact. I don't know. That's sort of one of the first things that popped into my head because they're doing like specific colors. Either way, I'm still excited. I just figured I'd update everybody, show you that we finally got the suits. I'm not a big fan of like the white shoe part, but I'll wait to see it in action. You know what I mean? Like, I can't judge too hard from a single shot of him at a Supreme, you know, clothing warehouse. And yeah, also like transforming blasters, it looks like. So all in all, I am right there with you. Susanoo looks kind of cool. Project R.E.D, and then Hibiki, Project R.E.D is going to be good. I really, really hope so. Like, this, there's a lot riding on this. And like, obviously, if it fails, like Tokusatsu's not going to die. Sentai's not going to die. Gavin, they'll do something. Toei they'll scramble. But if it fails, I'm going to be bummed, because like, this is their clear big push to bringing all of this stuff west, right? Like, they've already brought Kamen Rider, but thanks to the Power Rangers deal that we went over a few weeks ago, they haven't been able to come with Metal Heroes or Sentai. Why not throw them all together into one project and then give that project an acronym that goes PR, just like Power Rangers, and make your best shot, right? So let's all hope it turns out good. Obviously, if you guys are interested in Project R.E.D, we will probably, at least myself, will be watching it, and we can be talking about it each week once it starts airing. Hopefully, I can rope Cider into talking Toku with me, because I wanted to host like a Toku talk show with him for a little while now. It was supposed to be part of this initial streaming relaunch, but he's busy. He's got things going on. It's all about scheduling. So hopefully we can figure that out. But either way, I will at least be watching Project R.E.D. So yeah, come hang out with me, and we'll do some tokusatsu. Yeah, Gavin and Red, right? Like, that's what I mean. Like, it's weird. It's weird. I don't know why. They've said nothing, but that's not Sherivan, and it keeps making me. That's why I locked up, right? Because I want to go Red Sherivan, but not, right? Talk old Toku, good Toku. Oh, it'll be all Toku. Do not worry. You think I would let Toku talk happen and not try to remind everybody out there of, like, guys, check out all this old stuff and also some fun trivia? Like, let's be real. Do you guys even know me? But yeah, guys, with that update on Project R.E.D, we are at the 3-hour limit mark. I think that's a perfect place to call this episode of Good Mav Ugly. Go out there, get a move on your Saturdays. I'm sure you guys have friends and dates and video games and lots of cool stuff to go do. You've already hung out with my ugly mug for, enough time. I thank you for it, but also let's seize the day, I guess. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Either way, guys, thanks for hanging out on this lovely Saturday afternoon. From everybody who is chatting, from Susanu to Timon to Hibiki to Zero to, oh my gosh, I forgot to answer him, but Caleb Wright, if you're still hanging around, he asked me, what is my favorite anime? His is My Hero Academia. This is a very long question, and hopefully, maybe we'll talk more anime next week, but just at base, Neon Genesis Evangelion is that is my anime of all time. It hits everything perfectly for me. Mecha and body horror and philosophy and sad and all, cute waifus. Girl failure waifu in Misato. How can I want anything more, right? So that is my favorite anime. If you're still here, Caleb, I'd love to talk more anime next week or on future shows. And if not, hopefully we see you again. Same with everybody else. I know, what was it, Christopher Sullivan over on Facebook. Man, it's already gone. But yeah, Christopher Sullivan, RJ, Punk, Andrew for when he was here. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out, for chatting with me. And of course, everybody out there who's either watching and not chatting, I see you, or watches this in the VOD. All of your support means the world to us, because without you guys interested in not just, nerd news, but intellectually honest nerd news and seeing the world actually be a better place, if you guys didn't feel like that, we wouldn't have a show. We wouldn't have a site. So with all that, guys, thank you. I will be making a scheduling update on the website, so that there will be a specific spot y'all can come to and see, just in case you forget when we go live. And then, yeah, Monday, weekly Weeb News with Nerdigans. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, come hang out with me to play video games. I'm not sure what we're playing next week. We just wrapped up Marvel Cosmic Invasion, so completely up in the air, question marks. If you got a suggestion, let me know. I'm genuinely, I got no plans for next week. I don't even have anything like, maybe this will be fun. Like, I'm at a blank. But then again, after that, Saturday, come back here for same Mav time, same Mav channel for another episode of Good Mav Ugly, where, as always, I'm here to hang out with you, talk about what's on your mind, and remind you that the world sucks, but it's still worth waking up in the morning. So with that spiel all done, we'll play my outro, if you will. Don't worry, guys. Hopefully I'll have that all, nice and pristine next week. But until then, I'll talk to you all soon. And yeah, take it easy, everybody.
As the creator of Mara Jade,
Wait! I am not the creator of Mara Jade, and I want you to get out of this office right now.
I'm sorry, Zan.
No way.
You brought you brought it on yourself.
I don't want you here.
I'm so sorry, George. I didn't think it would go like this.
Out.
Jen, I got your voucher.
Out! There.
I'm sorry about that. I'm so sorry. We'll have him, burned and...
I don't even know who that guy is.